it's been an active day across the state of Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us here at OU Nightly. I'm OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo. We have a lot of active, not only tornado watches, which have just been updated in effect until 3 a.m. across the state, but we also have current tornado warnings, and even the purple polygons are confirmed tornadoes. So we're going to jump right into it. OU Nightly meteorologist Sam Patterson is right here running this entire radar, so thank you for that. So Sam, if we can go ahead and zoom into this confirmed tornado, this entire line is producing storms, and it's becoming more of a line. There were discrete cells earlier this afternoon as they began to develop, but they're starting to form into more of a QCLS line. But as we look into this is around Duncan and the Lawton area. This is moving towards Chokea. And we really want to emphasize the fact that this is a very dangerous area to be in, and it's moving northeast, which northeast, where's that? That's Norman. That's us, Norman campus. So we're really looking at this confirmed tornado, but there's a lot of rainfall embedded in this, so it's a little difficult to see on radar. So here's this track. It's moving about 40 miles an hour northeast. So if you're in the Alex area, 830 is the track for this tornado. It is a confirmed tornado. I cannot emphasize this enough. By the time it reaches Norman, we'll see this timeline on here. I'm going to go ahead and step back so you guys can see this. Alex, 817, Lindsay, 825, Dibble, 835. If we go down to Goldsby, this is just south of Norman. That's 8:53 p.m. So it'll be about 9 o'clock before Norman sees these storms really beginning into the campus area. But this confirmed tornado, if we can scroll down or move down just to get a better view of this and open it up into velocity, we'll see the wind speeds. Like I said earlier, they're kind of embedded, so it's a little tricky to see on radar. Also, notice this line right here. That's the end of the radar site, so it's a little tricky to see when it's a little further away from the radar. But notice this velocity right here near Duncan. We have the orange and the red. Those winds are going away from the radar site. When you have the greens contrasting from that, that's going towards the radar site. So those are two different directions of wind, and usually we can infer that that is rotation. So you can see kind of a comma shape right here around Duncan. So that has been confirmed as a tornado on the ground. So not just rotation, a tornado on the ground. If you're in this area, if you're around Norman as well, Noble, Purcell, even Pauls Valley, you guys aren't out of the clear quite yet. Get those precautionary measures in place pretty soon. Make sure that you're indoors, first floor, interior room at the very least. If you're at home, especially with the kiddos, make sure you get the helmet, the shoes, the whole 9 yards, have their safety action in plan for this evening. This is also just east of Lawton, so a lot of folks live in the Lawton and Duncan area, and they go down home or out of town for the weekend towards or outside of Norman. So keep that in mind. A lot of OU students may be out of town and unfortunately around this area. So let's go back to reflectivity and zoom out on a statewide level. Let's go ahead and see this entire storm. So this is a large system, and it has been a tornado outbreak of a day. We've had multiple confirmed tornadoes throughout the day, especially in northern Oklahoma. The Enid area saw some confirmed tornadoes up here. That system ended up moving up into Kansas, southeastern Kansas as well. Those storms are still severe warned. In fact, we have a couple of tornado warnings there as well. Those have kind of fluctuated between more of a line and discrete cells. Right now, you can see they're a little bit more discrete here and there, but the rainfall is really starting to pick up down here, especially in the Oklahoma City metro. We're starting to see that rainfall. Now, we didn't see rainfall earlier, and we had a little bit of sunshine peeking out here and there. When you have that sun, it's basically the calm before the storm, and that really heats up our environment. So the Norman area really hasn't seen any rainfall, and that makes us a perfect target for severe weather. A very unstable environment, lots of energy available for these storms still heading into the evening. Let's scroll down back here and revisit this storm to see the velocity and see if let's see it in loop and see how it is continuing to develop. So we're going to look at this in a loop, and we can kind of see these, these areas are starting to intensify a little bit of velocity. So you can see the winds are starting to intensify here and there. These storms have also seen some hail associated with them, radar indicated hail. So we've continued to track that throughout the day as well. So let's actually take a track at our hail detector and see if we've had any reports recently within the past 30 minutes to an hour. We've seen a little bit here and there. There we go. You can see that pink right there. Now that shows a little bit of more so possible hail. Likely hail is when you get into those darker colors, and then the white is when you really start to see that. Now, is this confirmed hail? No, it is not. It's radar indicated hail. So something to keep in mind. There's a chance that we could be seeing this in this area. So make sure your car is parked underneath something, especially if you're in Norman, as this tracks further north and east. All of that hail going to move north and east towards Norman campus. If your car is not parked in a parking garage, you still have time. You have about 30-45 minutes before this knocks on your door. So make sure that you're putting your car in a garage, parking garage. There are plenty of spots. As I checked a couple of hours ago, and there were quite a few spots left on campus. So we have OU Nightly meteorologists Colin Rick and Taylor King in the studio, and they're here to give us updates. They're tracking the NWS chat, the National Weather Service chat, and a couple of other things. So Colin, Taylor, what do you have?
Yeah, so just in monitoring the chat, we've just seen some information come in from the National Weather Service. They are continuing to launch weather balloons and monitor the atmosphere in place. We're noting that there is still a lot of instability to work with for these storms, so we're going to closely monitor them as they come into the area. And some communities are sounding sirens ahead of these storms further south. So again, now's the time to prepare for the potential for severe weather as these storms make their way into the area. We are in a tornado watch, so for those of you on OU's campus, now is the time to think about where you're going to go when you get that tornado warning. If you get that tornado warning, the dorms have those shelters at Couch and Walker Center, and of course, it's the time now to prepare for severe weather.
Exactly. The Bazell is also open until 9 p.m. They will extend their hours if there is severe weather on campus. So if there is severe weather on campus and the Bazell is closing, you are able to stay there until the inclement weather clears. Also, another thing with the tornado warning just southwest of campus, we are still looking at 1.25 inches for hail. So some pretty decently sized hail with this system coming into the area. Chloe?
Yes, thanks Taylor, Colin. All very valid points to keep in mind. So with this precipitation, we can really see this continue to develop, and as it's moving north and east, we really want to make sure that we're staying cautious with that hail as well. Radar indicated doesn't mean it's confirmed. However, it's a very great indication that there probably is hail out there. So keep that in mind as this pushes and makes its way on north and northeast. So actually, let's go ahead, if we are able to control room see a look at our Weather Center cam. This is actually a camera brought to you by the Weather Channel, and it's going to, so we might not be able to see it right now. Oh, there we go. So this is actually a look of Highway 9. So this is a direct shot southwest. What's southwest? That confirmed tornado. So it's still quite a ways away from us, but you can start to see those clouds begin to form in. It's been pretty much a cloudy day, and that sun is starting to set. So we're getting into the nocturnal hours of these storms, but don't let that fool you. We still have the daytime heating left over, and that convection still left over, enough energy for us to see those severe storms persist. So looking back into that confirmed tornado, let's go back to velocity to see if this has continued to persist or if it has dissipated. It looks like we're still on that track, on that strengthening track. Oh, wow, let's zoom in actually even further. If we can go down on a street view and look through this. This is around Marlow. Okay, if you're in the Marlow area, just north of Duncan, this is that area of rotation right here. Central High, Marlow, you guys better be in your storm shelter right this minute. You should be there 5 minutes ago. Actually, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. These are intense winds, intense winds. Now our monitor, or excuse me, not our monitor, but our radar site right here is probably not picking up the back end of this as well, but this is a great indication of strong rotating winds right there. That is the highest level, that color yellow right there. So Marlow, Rush Springs, Bray, if you're in this area, this is where you're going to want to take cover immediately. I'm sure you're hearing those sirens go off as of right now. Let's move on a track and see how far away this is from Norman, if we can zoom out and see that, because this is actually really knocking on Norman's door pretty soon here, next 30-45 minutes as it continues to push on. In fact, we're going to change from one radar site to another pretty soon here. Dibble 832, Blanchard 837, as well as Cole, Washington, Goldsby around the 840 area, 845 for Newcastle. Now this is really what we're looking at. The National Weather Center, Lloyd Noble Center, 845, 846, 847. So this is a little bit before 9 if you are especially south of campus. Both of those areas are south of campus, right off of Highway 9, the look that we just took from our National Weather Center cam. Now keep that in mind because we have a lot of students off campus who are living in student apartments. A lot of them are south of campus. Keep that in mind as this storm continues to persist. It looks like it's on a track south of Norman, closer to Noble. So that's one thing to keep in mind unless it takes a northern shift. In fact, let's go ahead and let's see this track right here. Yep, Chickasha 833, Lindsay 837, 844 for Amber. Blanchard, you're looking at 857, Cole, Washington 9 o'clock, Purcell, Goldsby 908, Newcastle, Riverwind a little after 9. So this is going to be a long evening. Lots of thunder boomers, lots of severe storms heading into this evening. It's going to develop into a much longer line. And we're going to see a couple of hours of severe storms. So it might be a late night for you folks here in Norman specifically. But all in all, we're really tracking this confirmed tornado. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's much different from just a little radar indicated rotation, a confirmed tornado on the ground. In fact, I want to see if we can zoom in and look at the correlation coefficient, see if there's any debris picked up on radar, because that will be a great indication. Because notice how it's kind of tricky to see. Sometimes we can see a hook echo, sometimes we can't, especially if it's rain wrapped. And I think that's the case. There's a lot of rainfall surrounding it. So we really don't see any type of debris. I don't see any indication, maybe around the Marlow area, but really nothing is picking up, which is a good sign. This is really good. If we see those darker colors, like getting into the blues and the purples, that's when there's a little bit of radar indicated debris embedded in the tornado. So thankfully we don't see that right now, but Bray, Marlow, Rush Springs, even Lindsay, if you're in those areas, stay aware, take cover now. Put those shoes on, closed-toed shoes, especially on the kiddos, the helmets, whole 9 yards that you may have. So this is our debris detector, like I said. So really, thankfully, we're not seeing anything on this front. But let's go back to a statewide view and see our reflectivity on this entire map right here. So once again, widespread outbreak for this afternoon. I think we have a little bit more of an update. So Colin, Taylor, what do you got?
Yeah, just hearing now from the National Weather Service, they are monitoring rotation increasing in Marlow. That is the storm just south of Norman that's making a northeast track. That's the area that we're going to watch closely. Strengthening rotation in Marlow, about to cross the county line. We're also seeing possibly some hail reports in that area as well. We'll keep you posted on that.
Yes, we have dimes being reported in Marlow at this current time as well.
All right, thank you guys so much for your live updates. So I'm actually going to toss it right on over to OU Nightly meteorologist Braden Seo. He's going to go back into radar analysis, give you guys a little bit of an idea of what we're seeing. Braden?
Thanks, Chloe. Yeah, again, like you said, we are watching quite a bit of activity out across the state of Oklahoma today, and it's still continuing as we speak for the next several hours. We've got storms moving into the Oklahoma City metro area. A tornado warning off to our southwest of Norman over towards the Marlow area, which is giving us a tornado warning as we speak, as we're looking at very tight rotation on the radar. And looking closer at that storm down towards the Marlow area, you can see on the velocity that we're looking at quite a bit of rotation here towards that area right here. This is that area you want to be looking at. That's in the vicinity of Marlow. And like Taylor said earlier, we were looking at hail reported in the Marlow area, and that's right here in this general area. That's the location that you're going to want to take shelter, because that's where the tornado would be located. This is again a confirmed tornado warning. Not sure if it's still on the ground. I'm not seeing any indication of that on the debris detector, the correlation coefficient, but again, there is still tight rotation right here, and this is where Marlow is, right here. So those of you in Marlow and off to the northeast, you want to be taking those tornado precautions now. And here's that tighter look. Marlow is probably getting blasted by very strong damaging winds right now. This is easily above 60, possibly even 70 plus mile per hour winds moving towards the radar. So that would be this way, and then these winds are moving this way away from the radar located in Frederick, Oklahoma. And this will continue to move off towards the north and east over the next couple of hours, which eventually could put Norman in the crosshairs, and we'll look at that coming up over the next couple of hours. We'll see this storm move up the I-44 corridor towards the Norman area, and we'll play that out for you, and you can see its motion is putting us right in the crosshairs. So those of you in Norman, Noble, Purcell, and everywhere in between, you need to be taking those tornado precautions over the next couple of hours, as these tornado warnings are certainly possible. And timing this out for you, you can see places like Ninica, 8:30, which is coming up pretty quick. So you're going to want to take your severe precautions and possibly tornado precautions if a warning is issued for your area. Chickasha after 8:35, towards Blanchard by around 9 o'clock, and then Goldsby by around 9:10.
Hey, Brayden, if you don't mind me interjecting, we have our Facebook Live going on, and we have a lot of people asking questions. If you don't mind going into more specifically, we have a couple residents that are actually interested in seeing what they could be seeing specifically. If we zoom into more,
absolutely,
that'd be great.
So looking at the Moore area, it looks like you guys are going to be on the northern fringe of this activity. It looks like places, it's really going to be from Norman southward as of right now that's really going to have to deal with the brunt of this activity. But I am curious about this cell right here, as it could move more northward towards the Moore area. Doesn't pose a tornado risk, but there is the potential for some large hail with that storm. And looking at it in a tighter view, you can see that pink color right there. That indicates that there is the potential for large hail, and that will be moving up towards the Moore area. And you can see that right here. We are indicating the possibility of some large hail, and that could intensify over the next couple of minutes to an hour. So those of you in Moore who are concerned, do know that the tornado risk for you right now is low, but that hail risk is there over the next hour or so. The tornado risk, again, will stick farther to the south towards Noble, Norman, and Purcell. Again, this is a confirmed tornado warning, but as of the last several scans, it's leading me to believe that it is no longer on the ground, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't touch back down at any time. And again, even if there's not a tornado, there is very strong straight line winds here. Marlow right now getting absolutely hammered by damaging winds, possibly above 70 miles per hour. And this will continue to move off towards the north and east. And it looks like we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued for areas farther off towards the north and east. That looks like it could possibly include areas towards the Canadian River, which would put it closer to the Norman area. So Sam, if we could get an update on that, that would be great.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said, that severe thunderstorm warning just got issued for parts south of Norman for Noble near Purcell. That is for hail potential mostly. Of course, confirmed tornado warning most likely has downgraded just to a tornado possible, radar indicated. We will continue to monitor that. And then we also have some reports from residents in Chickasha, that power is flickering there from most likely these straight line winds. Brayden.
Thank you, Sam. And I do want to show you some pictures from Lawton of some incredible lightning that we're seeing. So if we can get that on the screen just to show you guys kind of what we're seeing out there. Lots of lightning, heavy torrential rain, the potential for hail, and even a tornado risk out there. So if you guys want to put that up there so that we can see just what we're seeing out there. But until then, again, we do have those severe thunderstorms off to our southwest of campus. There we go. This is a look from Lawton, and you can see that lightning. Look at that over here. on the upper side of the picture, you can really see those lightning flashes, and I'll stand back for just a second and so you can see these storms, just how electric they are. That's quite the image there off of US Highway 62 and Sheridan. This is facing east out of Lawton, and this is looking at this line of very heavy thunderstorms that are continuing to push northeastward into our area. And going back to radar, we will look at a closer look again of that new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued for McLean County. And this does push right up against the Canadian River, which of course runs through Norman. So Norman not included in this warning, but this does go out for places like Blanchard all the way up to the Canadian River. And we want to toss over to Colin and Taylor as they have some new information, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Braden. We are looking at the fire department down in Marlow. They were able to detect 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, plus or minus that. And then they're going out to be looking at for any wind damage here shortly. So just a little update for our friends down in Marlow with this tornado warning that is moving into the area and turning into that severe thunderstorm warning.
Yes, no, definitely. And just like Braden was mentioning, you know, those new cells that are coming up, we have the wind threat, but also the hail threat. We're currently watching those new cells. They are posing a little bit more of a hail threat as we see those evolve. And I'm sure we got more information on that on radar here in the next couple of minutes. But also, so the hail threat and the wind threat is also there, aside from the tornado threat that we're going to continue to monitor here over the next couple of hours.
Yep, current time, Marlow is experiencing 53-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that is what is being measured at the current time.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, again, we are looking at those strong straight line winds and even some hail potential with that new severe thunderstorm warning, and we're kind of tag teaming this in the studio. So I want to toss it over to Chloe Arroyo, who is going to have the latest on this new severe thunderstorm warning.
Thanks, Braden. Yes, so this is a severe thunderstorm warning that we just had mentioned right here. Notice how this is a straight shot towards Norman, Noble, Slaughterville. If you guys are in this area, you guys are so close to the fine line between severe thunderstorm warning and just on the edge of that. But behind that is still that confirmed tornado warning. Now, this tornado probably is still not on, or is no longer on the ground. It's still very intense rotation, and this is around the Marlow area. It's not moving that quickly, so that's something to keep in mind as we're heading into the next 30 minutes. This is on our doorstep, but it's not moving entirely quickly, about 40 miles an hour, which seems pretty quickly, but if we're looking on a wider scale on the radar, not as intense. So we're continuing to see this track north and northeastward. So in the Norman area, let's zoom in here. Actually, we can see a little bit of rain picking up on radar. Let's zoom into campus specifically and see how close this is from the severe thunderstorm warning. It's not that far. So we can see Main Street right here, Boyd Street, Lindsay Street. This is our OU campus right here as a whole. In fact, where we are broadcasting, Gaylord Hall, right here on Lindsay Street. So Riverwind Casino is right here. So there's a little bit of rain detected on radar here and there, but down here, that is where the line begins for that severe thunderstorm warning. It barely misses Riverwind Casino right now. Here's Highway 9. So residential housing south of campus around this area. So right in that path of the storm right now. So make sure that you are staying aware next 30 minutes to an hour and even beyond that next couple of hours, because not only do we have this tornado threat, our flooding risk is really prominent heading into tonight. Lloyd Noble Center, 8:52, National Weather Center, same time. Whitaker Middle School, that's at 8:52 as well. 8:53 OU campus. That is 8:31 right now, so we're about 22 minutes away from impact on OU campus. So we're going to continue to track this in the next 20 minutes and even beyond that. So let's go back down here and look at our velocity. So we're going to continue to track the intensity of this rotation. We'll continue to see that. So notice, okay, so we switched our radar site. Look at this rotation right here. This is some pretty organized rotation. Notice, remember, our orange colors as well as the reds, that's going away from the radar site, green going towards the radar site. So we're continuing to see this really start to form and really start to rotate. Rush Springs just passed through Marlow. So Marlow, still stay in your shelter, but I think the most intense part right in this area has just passed Marlow. That does not mean you can get out of your shelter at this point. But what it does mean is that the brunt of it is already northeast of you. Bray, you guys are right in the middle of it. If you're in the Alex area, you're really going to want to take cover in the next couple of minutes or so. We have another update from Taylor King and OU Nightly meteorologist Colin Rick. So, Colin, Taylor, what are you guys seeing?
All right, so Colin and I have actually been monitoring radar a little bit, and we're actually starting to notice some slight rotation north of the tornado-warned storm, closer to the Norman area for that severe thunderstorm warning. Would you like to elaborate on that a little more?
Yeah, so we have that main cell that we're focusing on the rotation for, but there's another cell that's developed just north of that, also exhibiting just a little bit of rotation. It's still rather broad. We're going to keep our eyes on that in the next couple of minutes here, but also the growing hail potential on that cell. So definitely something to pay attention to, and I think Sam Patterson might have more information for us on radar on that storm cell just north of Alex now, moving north, approaching the Blanchard area.
Thank you, Colin. Yeah, we continue to track this severe thunderstorm warning at the moment. You can see hail core starting to form already with a little bit of pink. If we could zoom into that and you could show me the hail swath, please, that would be fantastic. Again, that confirmed tornado warning just to the south. That velocity couplet has actually appeared to strengthen over the last few minutes. As we zoom in here on this cell, they almost appear to be splitting right by Alex. If you could possibly pull up that hail swath, that would be appreciated. Again, velocity couplet down here by Rush Springs is continuing to increase. You can see hail swath possible this entire time that we have seen this storm, and it continues as it moves towards campus. That threat will continue throughout the next couple of minutes. We still have about 20 minutes till it gets here on campus. We'll stay with you as long as we can. As long as we have power, we will stay here with you, warning you throughout the next 20 minutes, as I said, as we get closer. So hail swath, likely, or not likely, but possible throughout the majority of its lifespan, probably since it moved its way up into Oklahoma. These were the storms that we were looking in Lawton upwards of 6 hours ago, about 2 p.m. earlier today. We saw those storms, we talked about it, and finally, about 6 hours later, those storms are finally making their way here. You can see with our radar, with our reflectivity, some light precipitation leading that edge, maybe a few sprinkles in Norman at the moment, nothing substantial as of now. Again, Dibble, that heavier precip is starting to make its way into Dibble. Could you pull up velocity for me, please, Chloe, when you get a minute? All right, so since we are moving into this is the Frederick radar site, which just is the radar site down by Lawton. You can see the, the velocity couplet here already starting to twist its way back. If you could play that in loop and maybe zoom out a little bit, that would be fantastic. As we said earlier, the storm seems to die down a little bit as it made its way up here to campus, but again, starting to reform itself. If you could show us, we do have our iNet, we have a live view, I believe, from Lawton. Outside night vision, you can see I'll step off to the side. Tons of lightning underneath that storm, courtesy of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation at I-44 and Post Road in Lawton. You can see that lightning, something that we will look towards coming into Norman here in just a little bit. Very large lightning presence there at the moment. But again, storms over the next 20 minutes will continue to make their way here into Norman with that confirmed tornado warning still on its, still live right now. They did not cancel it as of yet, so whatever the National Weather Center is seeing, or possibly storm spotters from this area continuing to watch a storm, something has kept them live with that tornado warning. So again, we do need to be cautious of this. Still a ways on out. Before that, we will get the severe thunderstorm warning in front of it. And likewise, across the state, storms are still continuing to fire. If you could play that just reflectivity and loop for me, please, Chloe. You can see storms starting to develop and fire up along I-35, almost going directly north along I-35, starting down by Ardmore. It is possible that these storms will congeal with these storms up here by Norman and possibly intensify. We will continue to monitor that. I believe we have an update from meteorologist Colin Rick and meteorologist Taylor King. What do you guys have for us?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. In monitoring the National Weather Service chat, we're seeing reports coming in of homes damaged, 2 homes damaged near county roads 1,950 and 2,620. First responders are en route, but we're going to continue to watch the potential for some damages or damaging conditions as these storms move through. We're going to continue to monitor damage reports and, of course, any information coming in from the National Weather Service, but we are seeing some reports of damage coming in now.
Colin, Taylor, thank you so much for that update. We're going to have Braden Seow now back on the wall. Braden, what are you tracking for us right now?
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, like you said, we are continuing to track those storms that are pushing towards OU campus. We've got several areas to talk about. Looking at this wide view across the state, you can see we've got a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings here towards the Kansas border, stretching all the way from eastern Kansas back into northwestern Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warning out here towards Woodward County, which is just east of the city of Woodward. But all of the more importance is these storms down here, which are making their way northeastward into central Oklahoma in towards Norman. And we've got a hail threat, we've got a wind threat, and we've got a tornado threat that we're talking about. A tornado warning still in effect here for areas north of Duncan, and that is pushing northeastward towards OU's campus. This will continue to push northeastward. We're probably going to look at this cross I-35 sometime within the next half hour or generally around that time. So that puts us right around 9:05 to 9:10 is when we're going to see this storm move towards the I-35 corridor. And looking at this storm right here out ahead of it, this is moving due north, almost getting ready to move out of that polygon. But as it continues to push off towards the north and east, we're looking at it moving about 45 to 50 miles per hour, which would put it around locations such as OU by 8:55 p.m. This is that hailstorm. This is not the tornado warned storm. This is a storm ahead of it with that hail threat. And again, this could impact locations like Norman and more around 8:55 to 9 p.m. But of course, we are keeping tabs on that tornado warning. So if we could look closer at the tornado warning and the velocities of that, because I want to see if we've looked at this thing kind of going through any sort of cycle. It looks like the velocity has come down just a little bit. Could we switch over to the Frederick radar? Because I think that might give us, yeah, there we go. We can see, again, these very strong outbound winds. These are the winds that are pushing away from the radar. These are the winds that are pushing towards the radar. And right in the middle of that is where you have that circulation. It is broad at the time, so it wouldn't surprise me if they do allow the tornado warning to expire. But that's not to say that we couldn't have another one issued at some point over the next several minutes. But again, right now it looks like mainly a damaging wind and hail threat moving into central Oklahoma towards OU's campus. We're continuing to monitor this over the next several minutes as it pushes towards the I-35 corridor. And along with these very damaging winds, we're going to be seeing a lot of very heavy rain. So that could end up leading to a flood threat, and we all know how Norman deals with heavy rainfall. It doesn't take much until we start seeing some of that ponding on some of those roadways. But again, very strong winds here moving out of the Marlow area northeastward. Lindsay, you are up next. Within the next 10 minutes, you're probably going to be seeing very damaging winds, and eventually that will push northeastward farther into Cleveland and McLean counties, including areas like Lindsay, Purcell, and eventually Norman. So again, this is that hailstorm right here that's moving towards the northeast. You can see that hail swath right here really got its act together. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're looking at hail greater than quarter size coming up over the next several minutes as this continues to move northeastward towards the Norman and Moore areas. But again, this is not the tornado warned storm. This storm is going to hit you first with the potential for some hail. The tornado warning is farther down here. But again, it looks like the tornado threat, at least for the moment, has diminished. And I want to go over again to OU Nightly meteorologists Taylor King and Colin Rick with an update on some of these storms. What are you guys seeing?
Thanks, Braden. I just wanted to mention we're getting reports now of roadway flooding on Highway 81 and Apache in the city of Marlow. So something to keep in mind if you were out on the roads tonight, that we do have that flooding potential. So obviously, if you see flooding, don't drive through it. You know, we hear a lot, turn around, don't drown. That's something we say a lot in the weather community, and something to keep in mind tonight, especially if you're going to be out on the roads in these conditions.
Thanks, Colin and Taylor. We're going to keep looking at this velocity here in just a second. But first, I want to ask if we could go to the National Weather Center cam control room and look at the lightning. We can actually see the lightning at this point. on our camera. We can start to see it come in from a distance. In fact, we're looking at off the horizon a couple of different lightning strikes, and just a few moments ago, this is not confirmed by any means, but we saw some really intense lights off the horizon, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had some power flashes here and there. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Weather Center cam. This is brought to you by the National Weather, this is brought to you by the Weather Channel and our partnership with them on our National Weather Center camera. So we're going to go back into this velocity right there in the meantime, and we're going to look at this rotation. So zooming into this, Lindsay, if you are in the path of this storm, since it looks like we have a new tornado warning, which is never a good sign. However, it is better than a confirmed tornado warning, which is that purple polygon. So this is new. So as it continues to develop, it looks like the rotation has since decreased a little bit. Now, as we head into later on this evening, in the next couple of hours, this is going to be more so of a straight line wind event and maybe a possible damaging hail threat event, more so than the tornado threat. So in the next couple of hours, the tornado threat will begin to slowly but surely dissipate. And so I expect to see that with this rotation. Now, it has a little bit of energy left on it, so it has some time on it left, but we'll keep that in mind as this begins to form a line, so that we have this large swath of rainfall as it continues to connect. This storm up north was not connected to this as of a little bit ago, but that rain has connected it all together. So Oklahoma City more. You guys are just seeing some marginal rainfall as of right now, a couple of maybe lightning, thunder boomers here and there. Nothing severe around this area. Heck, even around the Tuttle area, you guys aren't seeing anything too severe. So the biggest thing is this track right here as we're continuing to track these severe storms around Norman, Noble. This is barely passing Purcell, but I can see this far end of this storm lining up well with Purcell. So we're continuing to track this entire track, this northeastern track, as it moves towards Norman campus. So this severe thunderstorm warning was just in effect a few moments ago, and it's very, very close to the OU Norman campus. So if you're on campus, near campus, if you're on off-campus housing, our student apartments around the area, you guys are in the direct path of this line of storms. And even beyond that, look how large this polygon is of this severe thunderstorm warning. If we can go a little further south and track and see how far out this is formed into one big line earlier this afternoon. It was some discrete to semi-discrete cells, and now it has formed into one large line. In fact, this is well over 200 miles long, all the way extending down to Wichita Falls and further down into northwestern Texas. Lawton, you guys are still seeing rainfall and severe storms along with that, and then the front of it right here is where that tornado warning really looks like it just expired. If I'm seeing that right, yeah, those polygons have just disappeared. Let's zoom into that and see. This looks like the rotation has dissipated quite a bit. Now, seems like OU Nightly meteorologist Sam Patterson has a little bit of an update. So, Sam, what are you seeing?
Yes, so the tornado warning, they just canceled. I just wanted to point out the National Weather Service did have that moving at 60 miles per hour. So these storms are starting to ramp up in speed, and we'll probably get to campus faster than what we originally anticipated. Chloe?
Thanks, Sam. I really appreciate it. So we have our largest collegiate team of meteorologists here tracking this the entire day. We've been here about 12 hours today, really tracking these storms as they continue to develop. So just as Sam had mentioned, this is good news that this rotation is starting to dissipate. It's really good news, especially as it heads towards Lindsay, Slaughterville, around the Noble, and eventually the Norman campus. So it's really good to see that. Around Chokea, you guys are seeing heavy rainfall around here, but the rotation really starting to decay quite a bit, which is good because we're heading into the nighttime hours. That's when our tornado threat is starting to lower and decrease as we go into the next couple of hours. So the biggest threat, because it forms this longer line, you can see it really begins to dissipate right there. Looks like it starts to try to develop right here. I wouldn't be surprised if it does for a second. Not for long though, because then those straight line wind velocities, you see this line right here, this bow echo really comes on the back end of that and is going to start pushing off, and that's where our straight line wind threat is really at its significant point right there. So that's something we really do want to keep in mind as we're heading into the next couple of hours, that straight line wind. But here's your timeline. Noble 901, Goldsby 859, Riverwind Casino 902, Lloyd Noble 904, as well as the National Weather Center that is right off of Highway 9 south of campus, the furthest south of campus you can go. Newcastle 905, Sooner Mall 906, OU 9:06 p.m. So just after 9 o'clock. Let's see, it's 8:47 right now. So you got about 20 minutes left before it's on campus. If you're on campus studying for finals, I know dead week is next week, finals is the week after, so a lot of students might be pulling late night studying on campus. There are many ways you can go into a shelter on campus. We have multiple forms of shelters, including a shelter in the biz. So if you are out studying late night, make sure you're locating that pretty quickly, pretty swiftly, and knowing your safe place and knowing where to go. Norman High School, 9:07 p.m. So this is going to continue to track right through Norman. Whether it has a tornado warn or whether it is a tornado warn storm or not, as of right now, it's not. Thankfully, that tornado warning has expired since then. But regardless, it's still a severe thunderstorm. Not just a warning, but a confirmed severe thunderstorm. So it is above severe limits. So that's really what we're tracking. We don't want to diminish its value based on the fact that it doesn't have a tornado warning associated with it anymore. So that's really something we want to keep in mind. Let's zoom in on that velocity, that really the rotation that dissipated, but you can see it right here, continuing to rotate right here. So Alex, you're in that area right here. It has really, really disorganized in the past 20 minutes or so. So really good signs right here. However, does that mean it's over? Not quite. We're still going to be tracking this over the next couple of hours because throughout the day, it's been a roller coaster of will it intensify, will it decay, back and forth, back and forth. So we're really starting to see that pattern. So it wouldn't be surprised if it intensifies in a little bit here and there. So in fact, let's go ahead and put this in a loop and see how it is continuing to develop. So you can see it got strong, dissipated, and then it's picking up just a hair, but it's not tight enough for any considerable rotation, not enough to issue another tornado warning. But keep that in mind. There's still a little bit of rotation in there. Let's look at our wind shear to see if that's still available in the atmosphere, if at all, you know, because the wind shear, that's a really big factor in our tornado development. So look at that. Notice how it kind of dissipated right there. We still have some by a little bit of weak shear right there. There we go. Yeah, we could definitely see there's a stronger area of weak shear, weaker shear, moderate shear right there, and then the greens are much weaker. So as it continues to move up, that's where you see a little bit of negligible shear at that point. So, excuse me, we really don't have much in terms of that. I'm actually going to go toss it off to OU Nightly meteorologist Braden Seo just to go ahead and talk about those impacts of the wind shear and the velocity as well.
Thank you, Chloe. Yeah, we are continuing to watch these storms over the next several minutes. Again, like you said, the shear rate is decreasing as this storm continues to push off towards the northeast, but that doesn't mean that the threat is over. The threat is still very much there. There are currently no tornado warnings in effect, but there could be at any time as we're looking at this storm continue to push towards the northeast. And we're looking at this right here. As you can see, this storm is really starting to kind of get its act together again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a little bit of a circulation right there. Could we look at the velocities on that real quick so we can see what we're looking at? Yeah. So it looks like we're kind of getting these winds surging out here. And when that happens, you can start to see a little bit of a circulation right here. So we'll watch that closely over the next few radar scans to see if anything meaningful comes out of that. But regardless, we're looking at the potential for very strong winds, potentially over 60 to 70 miles per hour at times. That's pushing into McLean County. And McLean County borders Cleveland County. So those of you folks up here in Noble, Purcell, and eventually in Norman, that means this could be knocking on your door sometime over the next 20 to 30 minutes. And again, no tornado threat right now, but there is the potential for some very strong winds as this continues to push off towards the northeast. So I wouldn't be surprised if this severe thunderstorm warning here ends up getting extended, potentially including campus over the next several minutes. But until then, we are continuing to watch this very closely as it moves off towards the northeast. And we'll take this out a little bit and switch back over to reflectivity to kind of give you an idea of just how heavy these rains are. look at these colors right here. That is very, very heavy rain. And so this continuing over the next several hours could lead to a pretty substantial flood threat here in central Oklahoma, especially if these storms continue to push over the same areas time and time again. But I will toss over to the weather desk with Sam to give us an update on what we're looking at. Sam, what are you seeing?
Yes, so as you said, Braden, we continue throughout this severe thunderstorm warning. Like you said, no tornado warning right now. Whether or not we have a tornado, still a bit up in the air at this moment. The biggest risks for the rest of tonight, like you said, flooding is going to be a major risk. We saw storms down near the Wichita Falls area throughout the day drop nearly 8 inches of rain. Now, these storms won't last nearly as long as those ones did. They've been down there for close to 12 hours. But again, there's going to be heavy rainfall for the next quite a bit of time. So we just need to keep an eye on that as these storms move out. And of course, if the velocity picks up, hail picks up, we will be sure to mention that. But outside of all of that, we are still going to have a major flooding risk over the next couple of hours. Braden.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, and I do want to look at this weather center cam because it's giving us a pretty good picture of this storm moving towards us. You can see lots of lightning flashes out there, and at times you can see the structure of these clouds. You can see very low clouds, pretty ominous looking out there as we're getting towards nighttime. And you can see, again, plenty of lightning flashes as this storm continues to push into our location. And with lots of lightning means this storm is pretty healthy. And as you can see that right here, very heavy rainfall rates. So along with damaging winds, the potential for hail, again, that flooding risk is really going to be something that we're going to have to track over the next several hours, because once these storms move through, we're not done. We've got another round of potential storms later into the night after these have already moved through. And in addition to these storms, we're looking at additional development out ahead of that right along the I-35 corridor. Any of these storms could start to get their act together, and look at that right there. A new severe thunderstorm warning down to the south. So any of these storms moving towards the north here along the I-35 corridor and off towards the east, any of these storms have the potential to go severe at any time with the parameters that we have in place. Luckily, we haven't seen the widespread tornado outbreak that we were worried that we could see today. But again, that doesn't mean that we're not seeing severe weather. We've got quite the line of severe thunderstorms here stretching all the way from central Oklahoma back down into northeast Texas, northwest Texas, excuse me. And some locations down here have experienced over 6 inches of rain since these storms have began. So definitely, I want to stress that flooding risk is really going to ramp up as we go into the overnight hours, because these storms will continue to move over the same locations. And even if you don't get severe weather, the heavy rain is really going to be something that you're going to want to keep an eye on. And I want to toss it back over to OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo, and she's going to continue to give us an update on what we're looking at. Chloe?
Yes, thank you so much, Braden. Yeah, so we're really tracking all of this widespread rainfall right now as it stands. So Norman, you're still seeing the very beginning of that rainfall, and it's continuing to track as we head into the Oklahoma City metro. You're still seeing that rainfall. Now, our severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect just south of Norman, so we're continuing to look at that. Now, our Lawton area, you could still see that line. If we zoom in around the Lawton area, you guys are not quite in the clear. However, you do have a lot of just rainfall in that area. Duncan, however, you guys are still seeing severe warned storms. There's a large polygon of severe warned thunderstorms along the Duncan area, as well as Pauls Valley, Purcell. You are in the path of this leading edge of this storm right here. Chickasha, you barely missed it. Just south of Chickasha is the strongest area of these large storm systems right here. But notice how straight of a line this is, and it's continuing to track in a straight line as it heads north and east. So let's go ahead and move up and look towards the OU campus and see how close this is. It's really on the leading edge of Norman. You could see that severe warned storm is barely on this angle right here, just south and west of the Riverwind Casino. We have Highway 9 right here, and so we're continuing to see this move off to our north and east. And where is that? That is Norman, directly towards Norman. So luckily our rotation has dissipated, and I don't expect to see that become the main threat in the next hour or two. In fact, I think straight line winds may become more of a factor than anything. Blanchard, Cole, Goldsby, Norman, you guys are seeing the effects of the leading edge of the storm. It's starting to really rise up right here. Noble, you're also in the path of this. Slaughterville, you're in the path of this severe thunderstorm right here as well. Let's go a little further south and track really the meat of all of this, the bulk of all of it around Dibble. We could see that rotation right around here has begun to dissipate, and we're continuing to see this red and all of that. Oh, actually, let's look down here and continue to track this velocity. We can see the reds going away from the radar site, greens going towards the radar site, so they're rotating in different directions, but not very organized by any means. You can usually see a comma is what it looks like, the best description of rotation, but it has since lightened up quite a bit. So OU Nightly meteorologist Colin Rick and Taylor King have another update. What do you guys got?
Yeah, Chloe, thank you for that. I know you were just noting that rotation increasing on radar, and we're hearing now from the National Weather Service a tornado warning is incoming for the circulation at the McLean and Grady County line. There is a tornado debris signature being reported on radar from the National Weather Service. So if you're in those areas, we're expecting to see a tornado warning being issued in a moment or two. National Weather Service is working on that now. But again, that was the area you were just mentioning on camera. And, Taylor, it's crazy how in these situations, with this kind of environment, things can, weaken and then strengthen again so quickly. So definitely something to pay attention to tonight. Don't let your guard down as these storms make their way in, because they can look weak at one moment and then a couple minutes later they're about to get a tornado warning.
Yeah, no, this happens quite often with QLCS storms. We have those quick spin ups that like to occur, and that actually is what looks like could be happening down in the McLean-Grady County lines. So again, for those of you who don't know what a TDS means, it means that there is debris being shown on radar. So this means that this tornado could actually be on the ground, according to NWS. So if it goes to a confirmed warning, I personally wouldn't be quite shocked by that.
Yeah, definitely. When we start to see debris show up on radar, that could be an indication that there is something on the ground. Chloe, I'm going to toss it back to you now.
Yes, so just as they were talking about this debris, we're looking at this on radar. This popped up rather quickly within our new scan, and so this is very new. In fact, it's not even tornado warned, but we're seeing pretty strong rotation on radar. Look at that inflow right here, and then you can see this little debris ball right here. So notice how as those colors begin to go blue and purple, you see this little tiny dot of debris. What does that mean? That's indicative of a confirmed tornado. That's on radar. That does not mean it is fully confirmed, but it's very indicative of a really sticky situation that we're in. So let's go ahead and look at velocity along the lines and keep our radar right here so you can see it really matches up well with it. So remember, the reds going away from the radar, greens going towards the radar site, so we can see that continue to rotate. You can see those stronger areas of rotation right there. The reds are starting to intensify as well. Dibble, Washington as well. If you guys are in this area, take cover now. Take cover now. We just got a tornado warning on it. There you can go. You see that tornado warning has just been issued. I'm actually going to go, oh, that has actually been a confirmed tornado warning. That was quick. Now this is a purple polygon. So this is a confirmed tornado warning in the direct path of OU Norman campus. This is close to Dibble, Cole, Washington, and eventually up towards Norman. Get your precautionary measures or get that safety plan in action. This rotation has really begun to ramp up. It dissipated and really elevated up. So as we're seeing this, Goldsby 927, Blanchard 920, Dibble 914. So we're really seeing this go quickly. So it's 9 o'clock right now, 9:01. So Dibble, Cole, you guys are in this area right here. Let's go look at our Weather Center cam brought to you by the Weather Channel. You can see the areas of lightning right here. Of course, it's dark outside. So, I mean, we can't really see much, but oh, there's that big lightning strike right there. You can start to see the wall cloud begin to come up. You can barely see it, but you can see it when the lightning strikes right there. That is a fascinating view right there. I'm actually going to take a step back so you guys can see that. There we go. Yep, so here's a little timeline closer to campus, the Lloyd Noble Center, 9:24 p.m., the National Weather Center, the view of which we just saw. That is 9:24 as well. OU campus 9:26. So our timing keeps fluctuating because the changes of the storm, its path, and the intensity of the movement. So it's now moving a little bit slower as this rotation begins to ramp up. So look at that strong couplet right here. We're starting to see that intensify. Again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is around near Washington. If you zoom in, yeah, Sam is really drawing this out for you. You can see this area right here. This is an area of debris indicated on radar. So let's actually zoom in a little bit more so I can see the street views. I don't have the best vision right now. So 170th Street right here looks like 190th Street, 210th. We're really seeing these street view. You can see right here as it's crossing this county road right here. We can continue to see that it's moving northeast as we go. So let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and toss to our Weather Center camera one more time. Let's go ahead and look let's actually look at our, there we go. Perfect. Our Weather Center camera, you can see the lightning. I'm going to step out of this so you guys can see lots of lightning, very electric, a very, very, very electric storm. OU Nightly meteorologist Sam Patterson has an update. So Sam, what are you seeing?
Of course, radar confirmed tornado at the moment. National Weather Service continues to view it. Really what we want to talk about right now is our tornado safety precautions, specifically here for your OU Norman campus. Safe places to go. Walker Tower, Couch Tower, they both have basements. I believe Cross Complex has I guess they both also have above ground storm shelters. Headington Hall and Dunham College both have underground shelters as well. Anywhere on campus, in the Biz is also the big one. The library here on campus has underground shelters. So if you are on campus as this confirmed tornado warning, so a tornado is on the ground doing damage, this is your place to go. Time is running out. You do need to get there as quickly as possible. Of course, you can see on your screen all the places you can go. If you don't know any of them and you have friends on campus, text them. They will be certain. I'm hopeful that they will get you where you need to go. Let's go back over to the wall and continue to track this storm out.
Thanks, Sam, for a great update. Yes, this is very true. Make sure you know exactly where to go, where to be, and when to go. This is actually very soon. This is really on our doorstep. Very soon. You can even see the lightning. Yeah, look at that. That is some insane lightning. We actually have even more updates, so we're going to go back and forth all around. In fact, Colin and Taylor actually have even more updates. Colin, Taylor, what are y'all seeing?
Yeah, thanks, Chloe. I know you were just talking about that new tornado warning that is just to our south. And actually, just as you were talking about that, we saw Campus Safety is now tweeting that the tornado warning is on our doorstep. Does not include Norman yet, but it is probably going to be extended into Norman if that tornado debris signature and the rotation stays on radar. So for students who are watching now, just like Sam had mentioned previously, now is the time to think about where you're going to go if you get that tornado warning. All the dorms on campus have shelters. And of course, if you're anywhere else on campus, take this time now to figure out where the closest shelter is for your location so that you can get to shelter quickly as these storms are moving very quickly. Yes. and intensifying as they're moving closer towards campus.
Yes, and campus weather safety is also telling people to not travel at this time. So this means that if you're planning on going to OKC, hitting up, any of your friends up there, this would not be a good time to get on the interstate. Things could get backed up real quick. So make sure you are really close to that tornado shelter right now. It is time to get there.
And definitely for those of you who might be out on campus corner, interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building is going to be their safest place. Sam Patterson has an update for us.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Taylor. I just wanted to point out again, never should be outside during a tornado warning. This time in particular, the tornado warning's right here, shrouded in precipitation. You will not see this whatsoever. You will have to take our word for it. Damage is being done. You will not see this tornado. So if we are placed on that tornado warning, most likely in just a few minutes, be sure to take shelter. Do not try and look for it. You will not see it.
That is very true. Sam has a very valid point. Not only is it dark outside, it's rain wrapped. It is a very dangerous situation, the worst form possible. I mean, all forms are terrible at this point, but that is the worst form, especially when you're unable to see it. So don't go outside. Don't even bother at this point. I know a lot of Oklahomans like to get that lawn chair out. Don't do that. Don't do that in any case, but definitely don't do that in this case. This is rain wrapped, so typically we could see a good hook echo on radar when rotation is this strong, especially if it's a confirmed tornado. That is not the case in this case. It is rain wrapped, but we can see it on velocity right here. This is a strong area of rotation, and it is a confirmed tornado. This is actually right over Dibble. If you're in Dibble, Oklahoma, nearing Cole, I know Cole got hit by a tornado just a year ago, and so we're continuing to see a very similar path as it heads towards Cole. So thankfully the debris detector is a little bit less than what we saw before, but the biggest thing, that velocity right there, that rotation is going to continue to persist. So that we do, I believe we do have another update. Do we have another update from, are we good to go? Okay, awesome.
Thank you,
Sam
Chloe.
Patterson.
Live outside for severe weather coverage, we have Melina Samir. Let's go out to her quickly. As soon as we get warned in this warning, we will bring her back inside, but she is outside right now, so let's go ahead and toss to her outside of Gaylord College, reporting live. Melina Samir.
Yeah, Sam, I'm outside Gaylord Hall at this very moment. You can hear thunderstorms. You can hear a little bit of lightning. There is some sprinkling happening right now. The stadium is right behind me. But again, those storms are rolling in like the meteorologists are saying. We'll keep you warned. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Melina. Now we're going to go over to OU Nightly meteorologist Colin Rick and Taylor King. They have another update. What do you guys have?
Yeah, Chloe, thank you. As we see those storms approach the area, we're getting damage reports now from the fire department responding to downed trees blocking roadways near 1490th Street and County Street. And then also seeing reports of metal roofs near 9th and Caddo in the city of Marlow being damaged. So that was some damage we saw earlier with those storms as they move through the area. And we're also now seeing that sirens are being activated in Tuttle due to the storm moving closer to those areas. So again, now is the time, if you are ahead of these storms, to think about where you're going to go, make your plan now. And you know, it's just on our doorstep.
Yeah, we are continuing to monitor this for you guys. Again, do not be shocked if those sirens start to sound here in Norman when they possibly reissue that tornado warning. It would not be a shocker to any of us since that rotation is still on radar. We are getting questions in NWS chat to see if it is on the ground. We are still waiting for that response, but right now we're going to take it back to the people on the green screen. Braden?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, we continue to monitor this over the coming minutes. Again, this is a rapidly developing situation as we've got, again, this confirmed tornado warning over here towards the towards the McLean County area, and this continues to push northeastward into eventually Cleveland County if it does sustain itself. Again, tracking this out, you can see moving about 35 miles per hour would put it towards the Riverwind Casino on the southwest side of Norman by around 9:30 if this were to hold together. The National Weather Center just a few minutes after that, and again towards downtown Norman by around 9:36. But that's if this storm holds together. Regardless, we're going to be seeing heavy rain, frequent lightning, but again, this tornado warning is confirmed for the time being. We have seen kind of a downtrend on the velocities and the debris detector, but that's not to say it couldn't spin up again very quickly. We want to take a look at that Weather Center camera again, as it gives us a pretty good idea of the storms that are moving into the area, just how electric they are, which is a testament to their intensity. The more lightning, the stronger the storm. And you can see quite a bit of lightning flashes from time to time out here from our Weather Center cam, which is located on the top of the National Weather Center, and that's pointed directly towards this tornado warned storm. And zooming in on it, it almost looks like we've got a secondary area of tightening rotation. If we can zoom in just a little bit towards this location down here, it looks like it's really starting to wrap up once again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see another debris signature pop up possibly in the coming minutes. But I want to go back over to the velocities and kind of zoom in right on this area right here. and then loop it, because we can see that this has really started to take over, this new area of rotation. This is the old one over here. It's really started to dissipate. This is a new area of rotation. And as you can see, these pop up very, very quickly. So you got to stay on your guard if you're within this tornado warning, because even though one of them might dissipate, another one could form at any time. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Tightening rotation just to the north of Dibble. So this is near 250th Street right here, and that will continue to push off towards the northeast. So you folks in Cole, you're next in line of this possibly developing tornado. That's why this tornado warning is still in effect. And again, it continues to push off towards the northeast. You can see that right here. Kind of a handoff occurred north of Dibble. We'll play that out. You can see that was the old circulation. This is the new one that is kind of taken over. So I wouldn't be surprised if a tornado does develop out of this. So take this seriously for you folks in McLean County, from north of Dibble over to Cole. Oh, there we go. Absolutely right there. I would not be surprised if we do have indeed a tornado either on the ground or rapidly developing right here in between Dibble and Cole. If we could take a look at the correlation coefficient, because I'm interested to see if we have any new debris signature. Doesn't look like it just yet, but we'll continue to monitor that over the next several scans, as it does look like that rotation has strengthened quite a bit. And so as we saw last time, it only took a couple of scans and we went from nothing to a tornado on the ground. And as Taylor and Colin said, there was reports of damage already coming out of these locations in McLean County. So it is possible that we could see another debris signature pop up here between Dibble and Cole if there is indeed a tornado on the ground or developing. Going back over to velocity, it shows that couplet has really starting to tighten up right here towards Cole. So those of you in Cole, now's the time to take your tornado precautions. That means lowest floor, most interior room. Make sure you grab blankets, pillows, anything to cover yourself with or your family as this continues to push off towards the northeast. And I want to toss over to Taylor and Colin as they have another update. Guys?
Yeah, Braden, you're just talking about that strengthening rotation near Cole. In NWS chat, we're seeing that a tornado is now likely southwest of Cole, Oklahoma. According to the National Weather Service, they're tracking that rotation, and it appears that a tornado is likely southwest of Cole, Oklahoma. In addition to that, we're seeing communities in the area activate their spotters, and they're ready to go monitoring the situation as these storms make their way closer to our area.
And that is including portions of Norman, specifically Lake Thunderbird State Park has said that they are planning to get their spotters out, and they are monitoring.
And we just see now a tornado warning is coming for Carter County, north of Heddleton. That's the latest from National Weather Service in Norman.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and we continue to monitor this. This is our Weather Center cam, and you can see lowerings at times. This is, as we look at these lightning flashes, we have, oh, absolutely, guys, what do you have?
Sorry to interrupt, Brady. We're just seeing now the National Weather Service is confirming a tornado in progress in Cole, southwest of Cole. Tornado in progress. And that's the latest from them. Its tornado debris signature is imminent on radar, and it is moving with that storm in Cole.
Yes, so they might issue a new updated tornado warning for that. But now is the time, if you are in Cole, to take shelter. And those who are going to be downstream of that should also start being getting into their shelter as well. You need to be doing this 5 minutes ago when the tornado warning was issued. But if you're not there now, go ahead, get there as soon as possible. Make sure that if you have something, cover your head from flying debris, bike helmet, pots and pans, something to help protect your head. Braden?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and it looks like at times with some of these lightning flashes, we can possibly even see the wall cloud associated with this storm. As this lightning does continue to flash, it kind of illuminates the storm so that we're able to see it. And at times it does appear that there is a lowering in there somewhere. It's tough to make out because it is so dark outside. But again, we're continuing to monitor this. It almost looks like this area right in here could be the wall cloud, and again the tornado would be located just underneath that. But I do want to go back to the debris detector to see, yep, there we go. That's what I was talking about right there. That debris has started to show up on the radar. We do have a new tornado in progress just to the southwest of Cole by about a mile. So you folks in Cole, you've got little to no time left. Lowest floor, most interior room, closet or bathroom. If you can, get underground. This is continuing to push off towards the northeast. This will be in Cole in the next minute or two. So you folks are out of time. Immediately take your tornado precautions. This is a very serious situation. And now I want to toss over to OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo as we continue to track this severe weather. Chloe?
Yes, thank you, Braden. Yes, this is a very dangerous situation, not only for Cole, but this is in the direct path of OU Norman campus. So we're continuing to track this around the Cole area. You can see the velocity is continuing to increase, but we're also seeing continuous reports of this confirmed tornado. You can also see the Weather Center cam, and you can see it on our Weather Center cam. So we're going to full screen that, and we're going to have the voices of OU Nightly meteorologists Colin Rick and Taylor King. They're going to be talking over this while you see a live look at the Weather Center camera. So if control room, we can pull that up and pull up the voices of OU Nightly meteorologists Colin Rick and Taylor King. What are you guys seeing?
Yes, thank you, Chloe. We're just seeing now from National Weather Service, tornado warning for Cleveland County, including the city of Norman, is imminent. Tornado warning is on the way. So if you are in Norman, now is the time to seek shelter. A tornado warning is imminent, about to be issued. Actually, just issued now.
Yep.
Hail up to size 1.75 inches.
Oh, there
and
it
there goes
goes.
the tornado warning now. So if you're on campus, now is the time to seek shelter.
Yeah, sorry for all the phones.
So if you're on campus, seek shelter now. Interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. And of course, if you are on campus, now is the time to go to the designated storm shelters. If you're in the on-campus living facilities, Couch and Walker have those storm shelters. Cross has the storm shelters. All the dorms on campus. So find those shelters now because we are now in the tornado warning in Norman. Chloe, back to you.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, the time is now. We can see this. This is moving south. This is directly looking southwest towards this storm. It is dark, so we can hardly see it, but as the lightning strikes, we can start to see the wall cloud and the lowering, and I'm almost trying to see if we can even see that confirmed tornado on the ground at this point. It's going to be far away from this point along the horizon, but this is the direct area of where it's coming, and it's coming towards campus northeast. This is Highway 9 right here, and a direct look from the National Weather Service. So here's a look at that velocity. It's going towards Goldsby. Look at that straight shot towards campus. So yes, our sirens are going off. Look at that new polygon in the direction of it. It's taking a little bit of a northerly turn based on this polygon, but this is Norman campus right here. So we are actually going to go to our full screen right here. So Norman campus, once again, these are our tornado shelters. Interior room, lowest level. Make sure you're staying away from windows. Wear closed-toed shoes. Take charged batteries, phones, all of that. Even have food and drink if possible, and have a way to receive warnings. We also have our next gen weather call, which is a live way to see if you have a warning in your area. You'll get an active phone call immediately through next gen weather call that is run by next gen and our partnership with them as well. So make sure you have all of that in plan and set. Again, Norman is under an active tornado warning. This includes more Newcastle. You have a confirmed tornado. It was once confirmed for a while. It is kind of fluctuating here and there. There are sirens that are being reported in Norman. We had our sirens come off here in the studio, but it is a direct path towards campus. Keep this in mind as we continue to see this push off. So let's go to our debris detector right now, our correlation coefficient, to see what's going on. So we can't really see it right now, which is good. It's starting to fluctuate back and forth as we continue to see it. Oh, we saw it pop up a little bit, and then we're continuing. Let's actually zoom in a little bit because I don't know, it might be a little too small to see. Actually, what did I just see right here? Okay. All right, sounds good. So, okay, so our tornado warning is right here. So we're continuing to see this, and our confirmed tornado warning has turned into a tornado warning for Norman campus. So,
Chloe,
Sam Patterson, what are you seeing?
I'm going to interrupt you just real quick. National Weather Service in Norman has said this cell is starting to split. You can see it slightly. Sorry about that. You can see it starting to split somewhat. One area of rotation there, perhaps a second starting to form over there. So possibly two areas of rotation here currently in Norman. We will continue to track this for you. Chloe, back to you at the wall.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam Patterson. So we're looking at these two areas of rotation, one going straight towards Norman campus, the other one going towards Noble in that area. So two areas of rotation that we're really looking at and we're really honing in on. So you can see a little bit of this debris detector right here. This is tracking north-northeast. Where is that? Directly towards campus. If you're on campus, around campus, south of campus, north of campus, make sure you are in your shelter as of right now. You should be in there 3 minutes ago. You should continue to stay in there until it's completely clear. Let's zoom in even more. You can see the velocity on this. So Norman campus, you're very, very close. Sooner Mall right here, West Robinson Street, 24th. You guys, yeah, so the sound, we're getting reports of sirens sounding on campus right now. Look at this tight area of rotation. It's small, tiny but mighty right there. So we're continuing to see that track. Riverwind, if you're around Riverwind Casino along Highway 9, that is the direct path of this tornado. What are you guys seeing, Taylor? Colin?
All right, so sorry to interrupt again. We have two tornado debris signatures with this storm. We have one south of Cole and one west of Goldsby. So there are possibly twin tornadoes on the ground with this cell. So just to make sure you are seeking shelter, there are not one but two tornadoes with this system. Colin?
Yeah, and I want to reiterate, that is the storm making its way towards campus. So if we have tornadoes on the ground towards campus, that is a more increased threat. So now is the time, again, if you're on campus, you need to be seeking shelter in a designated storm shelter or in an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, anywhere in Norman actually at this time, as we are under that tornado warning. And again, tornado debris signatures, that usually indicates a tornado on the ground.
Thank you so much, Colin and Taylor. Yes, we're looking at our debris detector right here. You can see it just again. You can see right here is really what we're looking for. So just as a warning, if this heads towards campus, we have to follow our safety precautions as well. We'll still be live. We'll still be talking to you guys, but it won't be in our studio. It'll be in our control room. So we're going to continue to track this as it makes its path towards campus, as hopefully it will continue to dissipate, but we're still seeing that begin to ramp up. Look at that blue right there. That is indication of debris. It's small, but it's notable. And when we have a debris detector on radar, that's very, very indicative of a confirmed tornado on the ground. Not that far. In fact, let's see how far away in distance. How many miles away is this from Norman? If you could pull that up, Sam, for me. Two areas of rotation right here, beginning to split off at that point. Yep, so we're pretty close. 9:51, we're very close for the National Weather Center right there. So that is south of campus as well as Lloyd Noble Center, 9:51, 9:49 p.m. So we're continuing to see these two areas of rotation. Again, they split off and they're pushing off to the northeast. Norman campus right here, making sure if you are on campus, I can't stress this enough, get into a storm shelter immediately. This is coming directly towards campus. We've had reports of sirens going off on campus. We have many options. If you are in the residential area, you have, or south of campus in the residential colleges, there are many storm shelters like the Walker Storm Shelter. Cross has a couple as well, just to name a few. So the OU campus right here, look how close that is. That is just a couple of miles away from Riverwind. So this is about to cross 310th Street, West Burr Oak Road. So it's about to move northeast towards Lamar Road. So southeast 40th Street, excuse me, right here. Riverwind Casino right here. If you are in Riverwind, you better be taking shelter immediately. Don't be outside. Don't be near any windows right here. Sooner Mall right here, not that far. Norman, downtown Norman right here. Main Street is right up here. Now that shopping center up by West Robinson Street, 24th Street as well, that is very close to this as well. So we're continuing to see that. In fact, let's go ahead and see this move in a loop. And so we can continue to see the direction of this and see if it's taking a northerly, northeasterly path. So, because that can change really quickly. So let's go ahead and analyze that real quick. So we're continuing to track this debris detector right here, the looping right here of the rotation. You can see that this is only starting to get bigger and bigger and a little bit more intense. Notice how those colors reach the blue and the purple over here. Here's that velocity right here. You can see that tiny area of rotation. You can see that here as well. So those two little areas of rotation, they look a little bit on the weaker side from what we saw before, which is a good sign. But they're still significant and we're still continuing to track that as well. So we're very close to Norman campus. You can see Highway 9 is right here. So not that far from us at all. In fact, let's go ahead and loop this, put this in movement. Yeah, so it's right about on Riverwind Casino's doorstep. So we're gonna continue to track this. I'm gonna give a full screen of this because this is a mighty view right here. It is pouring down rain outside. This is a look from the National Weather Center right off of Highway 9 south of campus. You see a lot of lightning with this. It is rain wrapped. I cannot express that enough. This is a significant storm, a very intense storm right now. So we're continuing to see that, so we can hardly see any form of rotation. So that's the scary part. We can't even see it. So we're going to go ahead and toss to the voice of Colin Rick. So Colin, what are you guys seeing right now?
Yeah, right now we're taking a look at NWS chat. They're reporting strong convergence, some rotation along the Canadian River southwest of Norman. So that is, again, southwest of the University of Oklahoma right now, but that is where the National Weather Service is monitoring that tightening rotation, the area of most concern at this time. And of course, if you're in Norman, again, we urge you to seek shelter just because that rotation is so evident right now on radar, and the Weather Service is continuing to watch that. Also, Norman Regional has activated all of their locations to seek shelter as well. And of course, we have sirens sounding in the area. So just because of that, strengthening rotation right there.
Okay, thank you so much, Colin. Yes, we're looking at this debris detector right here. It's starting to intensify once again. We had this pattern throughout the afternoon, past couple of hours throughout the afternoon, where these areas of rotation would intensify and they dissipate a little bit. This is starting to intensify. I cannot stress this enough. This debris detector right here, this is indication of debris on radar right now. So this is really next to Riverwind Casino. Here's State Highway 9 right here. It is about to cross that path. This is moving up northeast. 937 for OU Norman campus. That is 10 minutes away. If you're not in the shelter right now, you need to be absolutely right now. Taylor King, what are we seeing?
All right, so I'm looking at reports from some storm chasers. Portions of Norman are experiencing power outages right now. So just so you know, there is already some power going out, so make sure you're in shelter.
Okay, thank you so much, Taylor. Yes, this is very important information to know. Sooner Mall, you guys are also in a direct path of this Norman High School. If you're in that area, I know there are a lot of suburb neighborhoods around that area as well. The Max Airport, the OU Airport up here as well. Riverwind Casino, this is right over Riverwind Casino. Let's zoom in even more to see right where this is. Man, if you are in the Riverwind Casino, I know a lot of people like to go out, have some fun on a Saturday night. They need to be in a shelter as of right now. It's right over Lamar Road right there, moving northeast right now towards campus. This is West Lindsay Street, right where we are. In fact, we see a little bit of rotation right here. Little bit of area. Let's go to velocity. Okay, that might not be something we're picking up on. That's good. So here is where we're really honing in on that right over Riverwind Casino. So it moved northeast. It is right over Riverwind Casino right now, about to cross Highway 9, moving into OU campus. This is very, very close to OU campus. Now, like I said a little bit ago, we're going to have to go seek shelter here if this ends up hitting campus, but we're very, very close to this, but we'll still keep you guys updated. We're still going to be live throughout this entire thing. So, Sam, do you have any updates on this right now as it stands?
All I have to say, it is over Highway 9. So we should probably move to our safe place at this moment. For all of you that are on Norman campus as well, or anywhere in the city of Norman, now would be the time to, time to take shelter. The National Weather Service just said that they also felt it, strong circulation just west of their building. We are going to move to our tornado safe place at this moment, but we will continue to provide severe coverage as we continue. As long as we have power, we will do our best to stay on the air.
Yes, so our mics are on right now. We're still live, and you can still see a look at the radar right now, but we're continuing to track this. We're staying in the control room in our hallway right now, so we're seeking shelter in here for sure, but we're really continuing to track this rotation right now and this confirmed tornado. This is really going over Riverwind Casino. This is continuing to move across Highway 9. It's crossing State Highway 9 as of right now, making a direct path towards campus, really. Yeah, right there. So we're continuing to see this rotation. The velocity is pretty significant.
Yeah, Chloe, looking at this right here, it just looks like the strongest rotation is passing Highway 9 right now, just near the Weather Center, actually, Highway 9, and I'm off-road.
Can you pull up
And
Colin?
Braden CO's got some more information for us.
It looks like on radar that we are getting a secondary circulation developing on the north side of Norman, very close to Max Westheimer Airport. This would be very close to 24th Avenue, which includes areas around Target, towards Cheddar's, all those restaurants and shops up there. It looks like we do have a developing tornado, again, This is very close to the intersection of Robinson and 24th Avenue. Looks like it's going to head right over Max Westheimer Airport. Again, a developing tornado on the north side of Norman. So folks, this is all of Norman that's included in this. We're talking about a tornado that has just recently gone very close to the Riverwind Casino, and then a developing tornado on the northwest side of Norman by Max Westheimer.
Yes, so I had to even pull up my phone. You know, we have family in this area, you know, so I have family in Norman right now, so we just have to make sure that people in this area are staying aware, they're seeking shelter as quickly as possible. We're really tracking this velocity right over campus right now.
And Chloe, as you mentioned that, as Braden's talking about, National Weather Service is talking about a new circulation developing over Sooner Mall and near Healthplex, another one. So one by Sooner Mall and one by Healthplex. Those are moving northeast, and we're just getting more information in right now from the National Weather Service. So we're waiting on that. And yeah, that new circulation over central Norman now headed right for the airport. So if you're in that area, if you're in the path of those in those areas, the airport and near Sooner Mall, now is the time again to seek shelter. I hope your interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. That's where we're seeing that rotation really tighten up.
Thank you so much, Colin. You know, I'm actually going to pull up our Facebook live stream if you guys have questions going on. So we're continuing to see this rotation. Yes, this is actually right over campus.
Yeah, it looks like there's a tornado debris signature on top of Campus Corner right now. So just so you know, if you are even on Campus Corner, you should be taking shelter. Portions of campus could be taking damage right now. So just keep that in mind. There is a tornado debris signature on the northern parts of Norman OU campus.
Yes, thank you. That I cannot emphasize this enough. We're continuing to track this. This is active tornado rotation, strong rotation on Campus Corner. This is really, really on campus right now. We're actually seeing multiple areas of rotation on campus. I'm actually looking at our live stream on Facebook right now. So if you're joining us on Facebook, if you have questions while we're hanging out here, might as well answer a few questions on here. So if you do have any questions or anything you want us to answer specifically, but this is what we're looking for right now. Our debris ball, or yes, the debris detector on radar is present, but we're also seeing this velocity. It is going just north and west. It looks like it's just going north and west of Norman campus on the map right now. So we're really continuing to track this. It's starting to intensify, and then it'll decrease, and it goes back and forth and continues to kind of fluctuate between that. So we're really seeing that as it crosses towards Norman. But this is an active tornado on the ground in Norman, just crossed Highway 9 through campus. And even we saw that debris ball, or the debris detector, really over, just as Taylor King was mentioning, really over Campus Corner. So we're continuing to track that. Do you have anything, Paul?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Chloe, you know, we're heeding our own warnings here. You know, we were just in the studio a little bit ago. Now we've moved into the interior hallway just outside of our studio, just because, again, the threat of the tornado circulation is so close to campus. So now that's why we are heeding our own warning and moving into the hallway, safer place, just because that rotation is so close to campus, and we do now have confirmed rotation on Campus Corner.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. Yeah, again, we do have two areas that we're concerned about. One that it looks like it is weakening. It has weakened quite a bit. Potentially this tornado has dissipated. This was the one that crossed Highway 9 into the southern part of Norman. But right now, the most important part of this storm is located up on the northwest side of Norman around 24th Avenue towards the areas around Target, up towards the hospital up there on that side of town, getting ready to cross Flood Avenue. It looks like right around Max Westheimer Airport, we do have either a developing tornado or a tornado on the ground right now, and another area of rotation trying to get its act together just a couple of miles farther south to that over central Norman. And as of the latest scan, it does look like it has kind of congealed into one main area of rotation on the north side of Norman, right around Tecumseh Road over towards the Hall Park community. So those of you on the north side of Norman, you're really under the gun right now in areas farther off to the north and east towards Lake Stanley Draper. Chloe, do you have any updates on what we're seeing?
Yes, so we're really just tracking this rotation, so we're continuing to look at this velocity on radar. Once again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, so these purple polygons entail a confirmed tornado on the ground, so we're continuing to track that. I have the laptop right here. We're really looking towards this, and so Yes, so we're really looking towards this on campus. We're tracking our Facebook Live if you guys have any questions around here. But we're really starting to see on campus and just north of campus the strongest areas of rotation right there. So we're continuing to track this. I'm going to go ahead and put this in a loop right here. And we're going to go ahead and see how this has developed, how it dissipated a little bit, but you can really start to see that defined circle right there of rotation. That is really what we're tracking right now. This is a very, very sticky situation for Norman, really crossed right over Norman campus. Do we know if it had been confirmed on the ground at that point on campus? No, we don't. However, there's a great chance that it was. So we're really, really looking at this. I really hope everyone is still in their shelter until we go and see this. Taylor, what do you have?
We are seeing a tornado debris signature north of Hall Park, just north of the Norman Regional Porter campus. So that means that there is damage being done near the hospital on Tecumseh. So just so you know, to be aware of that. The Porter campus for Norman Regional, just so you are aware, there is a tornado debris signature there.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, we continue to monitor this. This is a rapidly developing situation. Again, tornado debris signature northeast side of Norman around the community of Hall Park. That would mean that's about 3 miles north of downtown Norman. And this storm is moving rapidly through Cleveland County. So areas farther off towards the north and east, you're going to want to take your tornado precautions now. We saw how rapidly things developed in Norman. That gave people just a little bit of time to get what they needed to do to take their tornado precautions. As this storm continues to push off to the north and east, take this as your reminder to take your tornado precautions now if you are in the path of this storm. That includes areas right around the north side of Lake Thunderbird and around Lake Stanley Draper. Colin?
Yeah, Braden, just as you were mentioning that rotation north of Hall Park, I'm just going to call out some road names that we're seeing this near. This is now approaching Tecumseh, east Tecumseh, between 12th Avenue and Porter Avenue. That's moving north, so we'll see that track northward along 12th Avenue, crossing Franklin Road and probably East Indian Hills Road in the next couple of minutes.
Yes, thank you, Colin, for that update. Here in Norman, the tornado has moved to the northern part of the city. Here at campus, we are safe. We are currently moving back into our studio to provide the best severe weather coverage that we can. So give us just a few minutes to get back. We will continue to stay with you as we make our way back into the studio. But give us just a few minutes to get set back up in there, and we will continue the severe weather coverage for you.
Absolutely, yes. So thank you for sticking with us as we took our precautionary measures, just like I hope you guys took your safety measures too as that moved across campus, whether that was confirmed or rotating just on campus. Regardless, it was over campus. So that is something that we had to really take seriously as we head into the rest in the past like 15 minutes or so. So we're really looking at this debris detector as we continue to move on. Let's go ahead and look back at velocity at the area of rotation. We are in the clear, right? We're not quite in the clear. From that specific area of rotation, we are in the clear on campus specifically. But let's look at velocity and continue to see that here in just a little bit. Now, actually, we're going to take a couple of seconds just to kind of regroup. We need to set our equipment back up because we took it all out into the hallway and brought it back in here. So I'm just going to leave this right here right now just for a second, but keep in mind, little recap. We had a area of rotation and debris detected over campus as well. So Colin, what do you have?
Yeah, Chloe, just as you were mentioning that, as the circulation has made its way north of campus and away from campus, National Weather Service is also mentioning that that circulation is currently weakening, the circulation northeast of Norman. So again, that tornado threat does appear to be north of campus right now, and it's weakening as we speak, according to the National Weather Service.
Okay, thank you so much. All good news for sure, because, you know, once we saw that, we saw the intensifying rotation, and now just as Colin mentioned, we are seeing a weakening trend on that, which is really good at this point. We're starting to get into the later evening hours, so rotation at this point could begin to dissipate. Brandon, Sierra, what do you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention real quick, we do have a report on the spotter network. There's structural damage at the Homeland in Norman. The gas station has been torn up and there are trees down in the roadway. So that would be on that northwest side of Norman where that new circulation really got going up towards Max Westheimer Airport.
Okay, thank you very much. There was a little bit of, as he said, there's a little bit of damage right over on West Robinson Street and 24th. So there's a Homeland over there, and there was some damage reported. Colin, what are you seeing?
Yeah, just as you're talking about that new circulation developing, National Weather Service is mentioning that new circulation on the east side of Moore approaching the Oklahoma and Cleveland County line. So between Oklahoma County and Cleveland County, a new tornado warning is actually imminent from the National Weather Service. So we'll see that new tornado warning here in a moment about that new circulation there on the north side.
Yes, it is time to take that shelter. It is time to make sure that you are there and, you know, protecting yourself, protecting your family, pets, just so you know, like, it's looking pretty gnarly out there, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, that circulation is moving north of campus now, so we're looking really at Moore and South OKC, where that new tornado warning is going to be issued here in the next couple of minutes.
Yes.
Braden?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, again, we are continuing to monitor this rapidly developing situation. This is where that new area of rotation is going to start developing. This is south of Tinker Air Force Base and to the east-northeast of Moore. So everybody over here towards the I-35 corridor, looks like you're in the clear for now. You can take a breather. It's okay. All this has moved off to the northeast. But unfortunately, our friends over here along I-240 near Tinker Air Force Base, getting up into Midwest City and Dell City, and those locations are now having to deal with this new tornado warning as this area of rotation is rapidly starting to develop. Again, as the storm pushes off towards the north and east, this has been a prolific tornado producer over the last several minutes as it moved through Norman. And Taylor, what do you have over there at the update desk?
All right, there has been a report of 3-inch hail in Carter County. So this storm is producing some significant hail. So just so you know, again, not only is it producing some quick spin up tornadoes in the line, we are expecting some large hail with this.
Definitely. Large hail is a concern. The tornado threat is there, and also the damaging winds. You know, we were getting reports earlier of damaging wind-related damage due to those straight line winds. Braden, back to you.
Thanks, guys, for those continued updates. Again, Carter County, so that would be down to our south towards Ardmore. So you folks in Carter County, be on the lookout for some pretty sizable hail. Those are those new storms developing out ahead of this main line of storms. But we're going to be looking on the debris detector for the potential for a quick spin up here near Tinker Air Force Base. This includes areas off to the east of Dell City towards Midwest City and eventually over towards Choctaw. But if we can look at the velocities really to kind of get an idea of where this circulation is, and then we'll kind of match that with the debris detector to see if we've got anything going on. So zooming in here on this new tornado warning off to the east of Moore, it looks like, okay, it's still rather broad, so nothing that is giving me any sort of indication that we have a tornado on the ground right now. But like we saw in Norman, this can happen very, very quickly. So you folks that are within this tornado warning, you need to take this seriously because one can form at any time. So again, this is moving off towards the northeast. This is going to be south of Tinker Air Force Base, south of Midwest City, and to the east of Moore. So this will eventually be moving off towards areas near Choctaw. So everybody up towards Choctaw and into the eastern sides of Moore, you need to take this very seriously. This is actually the radar site right here. So this is going to be just a couple of miles to the northwest of the radar site is where we're seeing that rotation. Again, nothing that is really screaming tornado on the ground at this time, but there certainly is the potential there that one could form at any time. And I kind of want to take this out just a little bit to kind of recoup and get an idea of what we're looking at statewide on the reflectivity to see what we've got still to come. Okay, here are, look, we've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings up and down the I-35 corridor. Again, this long line of storms that we've been talking about for the past several hours. This probably is our hailer right here towards Ardmore and Carter County. So that's where we had that 3-inch hail report. But it does look like, again, right now, the most prolific tornado producing storms will be these in the Oklahoma City metro. And zooming into those once again will kind of give us an idea of what we just went through here in Norman. We'll kind of play that radar loop out for you again, and you can see these storms race through Norman. We had several tornadoes going on at the same time near the Riverwind Casino back over towards Cole. Eventually those pushed through Norman, and again, we did have that damage report on the northwest side of Norman at the Homeland. Reports of damage there, trees and power lines down. And I do want to toss over to Chloe with an update, yeah?
Braden, just real quick, let's go ahead and go a little further south along I-35. We have some tornado warnings in Ardmore in that area, and that has a different track. So let's go ahead and zoom into there and see what's going on in this area as well. So we have tornado warnings across the state as of right now. So we're continuing to see this. So as we drag this further south, we can start to see 2 tornado warnings. This is going towards Pauls Valley, moving north. You can also see a little further south in Ardmore. You guys are under a tornado warning right now. I cannot stress this enough. So if you have any area or any people in that area that live in that area, I sure do know a lot of people that I sure do care about in that area. So if we want to make sure that you guys are in your shelter immediately, sooner rather than later. Actually, let's zoom in on this area of rotation, this velocity. Now this is just south of campus. Campus is right up here, but this is tracking more northerly. So we have not 1, but 2 areas of rotation right here. In fact, that is a strong area of rotation. Can we zoom into Ardmore super quick just to see this, just to briefly check out this area of rotation? Look at this. This is a strong couplet, lots of lighter colors on both sides. So keep this in mind. If people are out of town, even students live off campus and around the state of Oklahoma. So if you're at home for the weekend or whatever that may entail, Lone Grove, Ardmore, this is just east of Wilson. So if you're in this area, take shelter now, immediately. So we'll continue to keep tracking that. So let's go ahead and take a statewide look at all
Chloe, I'm going to interrupt you just for 1 second. I do want to mention we are a little bit far away from the storm, so most likely this is more upper level rotation than it is near surface. But again, the top of the storm is spinning, so likely that means the bottom of the storm is spinning. Of course, tornado warnings out, not confirmed like what we just saw here in Norman, but those, you can see the rotation is continuing throughout the state. So if we want to go take another look back here in Norman, let's go ahead and get a look at that. If you need a breather for just a second, I can take over. Currently a tornado warning still north of Norman in the Oklahoma City area, pretty much dead center. Maybe not dead center, but just to the east of the Oklahoma City proper, I should say. And the, velocity couplet is still fairly intense on that one. And so we have, again, continuing to update you. Taylor King, what do you have for us?
All right, we have a report that there is a tornado in progress northeast of Tinker Air Force Base. So can we quickly just go back up to that since we do have that report from NWS Norman?
And not to confuse that with the prior tornado that was reported. This is coming in just now from the National Weather Service at 9:48 p.m. We also have reports in Newcastle of extensive damage along Highway 9 and also areas of flooding requiring rescue at this time.
Yes.
Apologies for that. I was getting some new information in my ear. The Cleveland County tornado warning has been extended till 10:30 p.m. And as Taylor just said, Tinker Air Force Base reporting a confirmed tornado. Yes, yes. You can see on radar, that's exactly what we just went and zoomed in on. Perhaps multiple areas of rotation. You can see one more on the northern side, looks a little bit more tight. One on the southern side, a little bit more broad. We are point blank on this from the radar station, so we might get a little bit of bad data, but still, confirmed tornado on the ground just to the east of Tinker Air Force Base, continuing to head towards the north, and likewise, and even there's possibly another one in the middle of all that, so I'm not sure exactly where at in this rotation they are calling the confirmed tornado warning, because there's at least 2 spots we can see currently where the tornado could be possible. Chloe, do you have anything for us? You want to head back towards the green screen and we can take a look at this?
Yes, absolutely.
There's our correlation coefficient, You can see just to the east of Midwest City, correlation coefficient is detecting debris, possibly some further towards the west. Most likely, that is probably just some late night forest. Large hail just over Midwest City. But again, there another correlation coefficient drop, debris detected just to the east of Midwest City. Chloe.
Yeah, so we're really starting to see this on radar. This is a confirmed tornado warning. You notice that purple polygon right there. This is going towards Choctaw, Hera. If you guys are in this area, you guys better be in your shelter immediately. So we're continuing to track this. This is just east of Midwest City. Tinker Air Force Base is right over here. Here's that debris detector right here. We can also see that line up pretty well with this substantial rotation right here. Keep in mind, red's going away from the radar site, green's going going towards the radar site. Radar site is a little further south down here. So we're really starting to see this rotation right here. Let's go ahead and loop this and see it in play as we continue to see it track northeast. If you're in the Choctaw area, Hara, along this area, you need to be taking your shelter and your precautionary measures. Now get into the furthest interior room of your home. Here's this really starting to intensify this rotation right here. So, okay, we just got word that there is an all clear issued for OU Norman campus. So if you're in shelter on campus, you're in the clear now. You are good to go. So all of these areas of rotation have shifted north and east of campus, which is good for campus, but that doesn't mean the storms are gone completely. So in fact, if you're in the Choctaw area, we're continuing to see this area of rotation. So we actually have report of some debris. So we're actually going to go toss over and see this right now. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that as of right now. If we can go ahead and go through there.
Yeah, that's right, Chloe. We have some small debris around campus, like these leaves and small branches. I'm not sure if that's a tornado debris or a damaging wind debris, but really people are out walking around on campus right now, coming back from Campus Corner, leaving the garage, securing their cars. But really, campus seems to have dodged the bullet and seems to be in the clear. Reporting live from Gaylord Hall, Michael Buchanan, OU Nightly.
Yes, thank you, Michael. I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Sam Patterson. Sam, what do you have?
Thank you, Chloe. Again, as these storms continue to produce tornadoes north of Norman, we cannot rule out the possibility of these storms to the south of campus starting to produce as well. We're a little bit far away from the radar sites currently to have a great picture on what's going on down south of Pauls Valley and north of Ardmore. But the possibilities of these, they do have tornado, I believe those are radar indicated tornado warnings, so nothing confirmed at this time, but severe weather's not over yet. These may disintegrate, they may weaken as they move towards campus, but not something that we can just completely forget about as we continue throughout this night. But again, the biggest threat right now in Oklahoma is that confirmed tornado warning up by Midwest City. Do we have an update on that at all at this moment with the damage or anything of that nature?
We do have damage reports coming in near Tinker Air Force Base. We just got some photos, and I'll get that over to us so that we can put them up shortly. But that's some confirmed damage near Tinker Air Force Base. And looking at NWS chat here, we also have spotter reports of large power flashes on the storm down in Ardmore. In addition to that, we've got some more damage reports coming in right now from Norman. So we'll keep you posted on that, and we'll try to get pictures up as soon as possible.
Yes, and continuing with that Ardmore storm, I don't believe we can get these because these are storm chaser photos. However, there are photos of a large tornado in progress near Ardmore.
All right, thank you guys so much. We're just going to go ahead and look at debris just for a little bit of a second. We can see it's still on radar, so keep in mind as we continue to track that, we'll still see that. So OU Nightly meteorologist Braden Co is going to give us a little bit more detail on the debris, the rotation, the whole 9 yards. So Braden, toss it over to you.
Thanks, Chloe. Yeah, we continue to see that very strong debris signature here over towards east of Midwest City and to the southwest of Choctaw, and this will continue to move off towards the northeast. So you folks here in Choctaw, this is going to be heading towards you. This is a very serious situation. Again, this is a confirmed tornado. This is where it's located right here, and we do in fact have a pretty stout debris signature. And if you could zoom in a little bit closer so we can get some of these road names, it does look like it is at an intersection right now of a few roads to the east of Midwest City, and we'll kind of see what that is. So that is Southeast 15th Street right here to the east of Midwest City. Very pronounced debris signature here moving towards Max Lane. So if you know anybody that is in these areas right here towards Max Lane, eventually up towards East Reno Avenue, this is where this tornado is moving. This is a very serious situation. It is confirmed because we do have this very pronounced debris signature. And what that means is the tornado is strong enough to be lofting debris into the air. That could be leaves, it could be pieces of houses, it could be sheet metal. Anything that is not a meteorological target, such as rain or hail, will show up as debris signature here on our radar. So that is what we are seeing here with this, a confirmed tornado moving towards the north and east, which does include the areas right around Choctaw. This eventually will move across Northeast 23rd Street. So you folks from Choctaw over here towards Hera and north of the Woods area, you guys need to be taking your tornado precautions now. This is a rapidly moving storm. It has already done some damage. We did have those damage reports closer to Tinker Air Force Base. We've got power flashes reported in this area. So this tornado is definitely down and doing damage very close to Reno Avenue, again, Northeast 10th Street, and eventually Northeast 23rd Street in Choctaw is where this tornado looks like it's going. And let's switch back over to the velocities. Well, actually, let's take a look at that. Let's look at that Weather Center cam, and we actually have seen an ambulance moving here across Highway 9, so that could mean that we haven't got, oh, did you see that lightning strike right there? That was pretty crazy. That was a pretty good lightning strike. But again, we do have this active tornado up in towards areas close to the Choctaw area. This is a rapidly developing situation. And I do want to toss over to Sam Patterson. He does have more information on this. Sam?
Braden, thank you. Perfect timing on that. That's exactly what I was going to say. Velocity, you can see throughout most of the time, is pretty consistent. But so what we have the radar set to is we are getting scans to every 2 minutes, every 1 minute increments. You can see within 3 frames, this storm has intensified and produced more damage. That's how fast things are going to happen tonight. So please stay in tune with your news, with us, as long as we are on the air covering these storms. They're going to come fast, they're going to do damage, and we even, like I said earlier, we had those tornado warnings down in Ardmore. I believe we have some pictures on those. If we can pull those up for me, please, of the tornadoes from Ardmore, which are moving their way up. If we don't have those are all right. There we are. So there's a tornado, perfect picture, clear view into it. That is from Ardmore, Oklahoma, down south on Interstate 35 in southern Oklahoma. Those storms more or less are moving straight to the north near us. They could miss us to the east, but we will continue to monitor that. And now Taylor King and Colin Rick have updated information. Let's get right over to them for the updated information.
All right, so we still have that tornado threat ongoing in portions of Oklahoma. However, we cannot neglect the flooding threat. We are seeing some creeks overflowing in Duncan, so we are going to be monitoring this as well. So just so you know, again, turn around, don't drown, don't drive into any roadways that have standing water. The roadway could be flushed away underneath and you would not be able to tell.
Yeah, Taylor, just like you were mentioning, emergency management in the city of Duncan is reporting flooding that's actually crossing over Highway 81 near Elder Avenue. So they're closing it down right now due to major flooding. So again, the flooding risk is there tonight. We may be focusing right now on the tornado and severe storms risk, but flooding is also a major concern. Sam Patterson has an update for us. Sam, what you got?
Yes, thank you, Colin and Taylor. I just wanted to point out we just saw live images from Ardmore, Oklahoma. So the radar sits about 80 miles away from this storm, and we can detect the debris. So this thing is powerful, lofting debris very high up into the atmosphere, and the radar is scanning it. So just another grasp on how dangerous these storms are tonight as we continue throughout the night. Let's go back over to Braden on the wall as we continue to walk through these storms. Confirmed tornadoes in Ardmore and to the east of Midwest City.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, again, we're watching multiple areas right now of the potential for tornadoes. Again, this is to the north and west of Ardmore, a very pronounced debris signature, which means, again, that this tornado is lofting debris into the air, which could mean leaves, pieces of houses, buildings, sheet metal, anything that's not a meteorological target, such as raindrops. That will show up as a blue circle on the debris detector. And zooming in once again to this tornado here, just to the southwest of Choctaw, we're still watching this debris signature move off to the north and east. This has been very persistent, unlike the ones that we've seen farther south. This one has been here with us for several frames now. So this means that it's probably a pretty substantial tornado moving here right across East Reno Avenue. And again, this is going to continue to push northeast towards Northeast 10th Street, eventually Northeast 23rd Street, moving into Choctaw and to the west of Hera. So again, this is a very serious situation. You folks need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately, which includes lowest floor of your home, basement, or an interior closet or bathroom. You want to stay away from those windows, which is why you want to move to that interior room in your home. In case you do have to deal with debris, you want to wear those closed-toed shoes so you don't step on any glass or nails. And also make sure that you take batteries with you, charge your phones, have a way to receive those warnings, so maybe take a radio with you, or if you can, turn your TV up loud so that you can hear it from your safe spot. But that is what we want to do if we do have a tornado warning in our area. So for you folks who are in these tornado warnings right now, those are the tornado precautions that you want to take. And again, we do have active tornado warnings here to the east of Oklahoma City and all down I-35 from Ardmore northward to Pauls Valley and even out eastward towards the Ada area, many of these of which are confirmed, and Sam has an update on that. Sam?
Yes, at the moment they continue to be confirmed. I wanted to mention what we talked about earlier, the possibilities of these coming straight up on I-35 and coming into Norman. As of now, they look to miss us towards the east, but that doesn't mean our severe threat is over. You can see if we pull up Barron for you to see a little bit better, storms still continue to fire towards our west, and they move basically northeast, so we could still continue to see some heavy rainfall, possibly hail, strong winds as we continue out throughout the night. Braden?
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, again, we continue to watch these storms, tornado threat, high wind, hail threat. All of these things are contributing to this high risk of severe weather that we have here in central Oklahoma through the night. We have seen these storms push through the Norman area, so we're currently not looking at any severe weather in Norman proper right now. These are to the east of us, out towards eastern Cleveland County, over towards Lake Thunderbird, towards Tecumseh and Shawnee. These are getting ready to knock on your door over here. So places like Shawnee, just because you're not under a tornado warning doesn't mean that you're not going to be seeing severe weather. We're talking about damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, which can do some pretty substantial damage, but the tornado threat is confined up here to the northern end of this bow echo, this kind of bookend vortex right here is what we call it. That's where you have those converging winds that lead to these little circulations that develop rather quickly and can do some pretty substantial damage. And unfortunately, that's what we saw right there close to Tinker Air Force Base, where we had that confirmed tornado debris signature. And Sam, if you could bring up that debris signature once again over here near the Choctaw area to see the progress that that has made. And it does look like that debris signature is still with us. Yes, absolutely, right here, just ever so slightly to the south and east of downtown Choctaw. So you folks in Choctaw, you're out of time. This is moving through your town as we speak, right along Northeast 23rd Street. That's where this tornado is located, inside of Choctaw city limits. So you folks up there in this area, take your tornado precautions immediately. And this continues to push off towards the northeast. We're talking about a substantial risk for damage here. We've got debris being lofted. That's what this is showing right here. This area, right? Okay, it does look like it is weakening maybe just a little bit as it moves farther off towards the north and east. Can we take a look at the velocity to see what we're talking about? Yeah, much less pronounced than it was down here south of Choctaw. So that is good news. That's what we're seeing with these tornadoes. They're not these long track tornadoes like we were talking about earlier, but rather these spin up tornadoes that can do damage very quickly. And we've got an update from our friends at the desk, guys.
Yeah, Braden, thanks for that. We're continuing to see that rotation slightly decrease with those northern storms, but on the southern storms near Ardmore, we're actually getting reports now of strong circulation continuing to increase in intensity near Springer, Oklahoma, just east of I-35 on the southern storms. So that's coming in from NWS chat, and in Ardmore, we're also seeing damage reports come in as well at this time with all the new information coming in from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, we are getting quite a few reports from that. So much damage reports that the radio is starting to get congested, so it might get a little harder for some reports to come in, but we will keep you posted. Braden?
Thanks, guys, for that update. And again, we are talking about multiple areas of the potential for tornadoes. It does look like, fortunately, this one near Choctaw has weakened. So now I want to kind of turn our focus farther south so we can see these storms that are pushing up I-35. This tornado warning right here, the circulation located very close to Wynnewood, that is moving north-northeast towards the Pauls Valley area. So that's going to be right here We're kind of far away from the radar in this location. Could we possibly switch it over to the KTLX radar? Maybe that'll give us a better look at that particular storm. Maybe zoom in just a little bit down here towards the Wynnewood area, just to get an idea of where exactly this circulation is located. And it looks like it's right on top of you guys in Wynnewood. So Wynnewood, tornado precautions now, lowest, most interior room in your home. Make sure you wear those closed-toed shoes. Again, if you do have to deal with debris, this is moving north-northeastward. So it's, okay, there we go. This is from the different radar showing a very pronounced circulation right along Highway 77 here, just to the south of Wynnewood. So anywhere in this area is the possibility. Okay, there we go. New scan just shows that moving off to the north-northeast within the city limits of Wynnewood. So you guys in Wynnewood, tornado precautions now. Here it is right here, and that will move north-northeastward across the east side of Pauls Valley. So you folks in Pauls Valley, tornado precautions. Again, lowest level interior room, no windows is where you want to be. If you can get underground, again, this is a very strong circulation right here. And we do have new video that we want to show from Melina Samir of Gaylord Stadium. You can see quite a bit of rainfall out there that's leading to the potential for some ponding on roadways. Folks are trying to get back to their cars in the stadium. Again, you can see these storms caused mass chaos as they came through Norman. We sounded the sirens, had a debris signature in multiple parts of Norman, and even some damage to some areas of our city. But again, down here south of us is where the threat is located right now, right along Highway 77 in Wynnewood. This is one storm, and okay, absolutely. We want to go over to Melina Samir. She's live at Campus Corner with an update. Melina, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, Braden, behind me is Campus Corner. You see students, you see people out there right now, but it is suggested that you go home at this time. Storms are not over for the evening. If you go home at this time, be safe, stay forewarned, and again, we'll bring you all those coverages throughout the evening. Reporting from Campus Corner, Melina Samir, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Melina, for that update. And let's take a look again at the Norman area just to get an idea of what we're looking at right now here across campus. You can see the severe weather threat for Norman has moved out to the east. That's this area right here. But taking a closer look at Norman, we just have some lingering rain, maybe some gusty winds on the backside of this rainfall, but the heaviest stuff is over towards Lake Thunderbird and areas farther off to the east. This does not mean we're completely done for the night. We could have additional rounds of storms as we continue to go forward through the next several hours, but for the time being, our severe threat is over in Norman. But again, sliding down farther south along the I-35 corridor, let's take a look at that Ardmore storm where we do have a confirmed tornado near Springer. Let's look at the velocities on that if we can, and just to get an idea of what we're looking at. So we are high up in range from the radar, so we're far away from the radar, so we're looking high up in the atmosphere. But again, a very pronounced signature right here between Springer and Sulphur, which is where we could be looking at the potential for a tornado. This warning is confirmed, so there could indeed be a tornado on the ground right now. This is very near the Doherty area, near Crusher. This is going to continue to push off towards the north and east over the next several minutes. And I do have an update from the desk. Guys, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Brendan, thank you for that. I know we were tracking those storms up near Choctaw, and actually I'm just in contact with OU Nightly's own Rachel Mosshammer, who is in Choctaw currently reporting damage to her own home. Down trees on the roof, furniture, outdoor furniture is gone, and lots of trees down everywhere. This is our own OU Nightly meteorologist Rachel Mosshammer reporting damage at her residence in Choctaw.
Yes, not only that, just something coming out of NWS Norman, tornado may be imminent for Doherty. I am so sorry if I butchered that, but they believe that a tornado is imminent with that storm.
Yeah, so definitely we're going to keep monitoring that threat to the south, and like Braden's been talking about tonight for students on campus, that threat has passed currently. And Braden, what else do you have for us?
Yeah, thanks guys. Again, this is that storm right here near Doherty that we're talking about. A tornado could be imminent. So that would be right here is where we're seeing that strongest rotation between Springer and Doherty. This area right here, this is where you want to be taking those tornado precautions right now. And I do want to go over to Sam Patterson. He's got a more in-depth look at this storm. Sam?
Yes, we'll actually are going to jump back quickly to the Norman campus. Cleveland County and Oklahoma County, that tornado warning that was issued until 10:30 p.m. has officially been canceled. Campus is in the clear for now. It looks to be that way as we continue throughout the evening. Notes of the storm should say to our east and to our south. Let's go ahead and go back to Braden on the wall as we continue to track this possible tornado down by Doherty.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, again, it looks like it's right on top of Doherty right now. So you guys in Doherty, unfortunately, you're out of time. Your tornado precautions should be done at this time, as this tornado will be on top of you right now. So let's look at the Weather Center cam. We do look like we have some debris on Highway 9. Okay, there we go. So we've actually got video of some debris across Robinson and 24th Avenue Northwest. That's the area I was talking about. That tornado crossed through earlier, that new circulation that developed rather quickly on the northwest side of Norman. This is from OU Nightly meteorologist Garrett Tarver, who shot this video again at Robinson and 24th Avenue Northwest up by the Homeland, which sustained some damage, down trees, power lines, damage to the gas station awning. But now in Norman, our threat has ended, fortunately for us. This is that location where we had that tornado pass through. It was just down here near the intersection of Robinson and 24th Avenue. And I want to look at the reflectivity again to show you what we're looking at currently in Norman. All the heavy rain has pushed off towards the east, so therefore we are in the clear in terms of severe weather for now in Norman. The heavy rain threat has shifted off to the east as well, but unfortunately we can't say the same for our friends up to the north and down south, all the way down I-35. Okay. All right, so we have some debris. We want to show you some pictures of some debris that we have outside of, around Norman. If we could put that up, there we go. We got some down trees here in Woodlake Estates. I believe this is close to Riverwind Casino off of Highway 9. This looks like we do have some down trees from that tornado that moved rather close to Riverwind Casino an hour or so ago before it made its way into Norman. So again, it does look like we did have some damage, unfortunately, from that tornado that pushed through our city earlier, which did cause us to have to take shelter. But fortunately, like I said, this has cleared out of Norman. We're in the clear right now. No severe weather that we're looking at right now. But unfortunately, our friends down south are really under the gun right now with multiple tornado warnings, one of which is confirmed. And if we can zoom in on that close to I-35 and Highway 77, it does appear that we do have a tornado either developing or on the ground near the town of Doherty. So Sam, if we could zoom in on that one real quick, just here along Highway 77 near Ardmore, north of Ardmore, excuse me. That would be this storm right here with that signature. And it's hard to tell from a debris detection standpoint as we are so far away from the radar, but there is a very strong signature right here. This is going to be moving very close to Sulphur. So you folks in Sulphur, again, tornado precautions. Right now, you only have a few minutes left before this storm pushes into your area. So Taylor, what you got over there at the desk?
They're reporting multiple flooded roadways. So once again, make sure that if you are out and about in these storms, after the tornado threat leaves, do be aware that the flooding risk is still in effect for many areas in this storm system.
Yeah, definitely. The OU campus, again, is no longer under that tornado threat. OU and Norman is in the clear right now, but if you're going to be out on the roads tonight or in other areas of the state, we're still watching that very high-end flooding risk tonight. So we'll keep you posted on that. Braden, do you have anything else for us?
Yeah, guys, thank you for that. So again, No severe weather right now for campus. That is great news. We did unfortunately have quite the tumultuous evening with multiple tornado warnings in Norman. We have seen some damage around the city, but things right now have calmed down quite a bit, which is great news. Looks like the heavy rain threat has pushed off to the east of us as well. So fortunately, looks like for now at least, we are done here in Norman. Just some lingering light rain. The bulk of the activity again is much off to the east of Norman, north and east of Norman, where we had that tornado in the Choctaw area, and again down south towards Doherty, where we have that tornado that is potentially doing damage right now, moving towards Sulphur. And again, we are continuing to monitor these storms down south towards the Sulphur area along Highway 77, and again down towards the Ardmore area and up towards Pauls Valley. 3 separate tornado warnings, and I do want to toss to OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo as she has more information on these storms.
Yes, absolutely. So we're continuing to track this velocity. Now, once again, just as Braden mentioned, Norman campus, you guys are pretty much in the clear for right now, but we're really tracking this area of this confirmed tornado just north of Ardmore. We have areas of rotation near the Sulphur area, and so we're continuing to track this in south central Oklahoma. This is moving northward around the Wynnewood, Pauls Valley area. You can see this around here. This is Highway 77. If you book it straight north, that's going to take you directly towards Norman. So we're really tracking this area of rotation right here. It's starting to dissipate here and there. Strong areas of rotation, so not dissipating by very much, but we're really continuing to track that. Let's go back to Norman campus on reflectivity and take a look at all of what we're seeing right now. Not much in terms of severity. So we're still under a severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, we had a little bit of damage over by the Max Westheimer Airport. We're going to have a couple of reporters out there. They're on their way to survey that damage. We had some damage over by 24th and Robinson at the Homeland over there. Luckily, we haven't seen much, and we've seen a little bit, but not much, as much in terms of damage across campus, but still something that's very considerable. So this rainfall, for the most part, we're really not seeing anything severe right now on campus. So I would say for the night, you guys are okay. So statewide view, let's go ahead and zoom out completely on this. Once again, the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 10:30 for Cleveland County. Like I said, the back end of this, we're going to kind of see this. In fact, let's go ahead and loop this and show that we're going to see the back end of this. Right? So see this line of severe storms, and we still see that tornado warning right there, that confirmed tornado warning just north of Ardmore. These severe storms, these severe warned storms right here, and then the back end of that, that's heavy rainfall that's still pouring down. So we're going to really see the back end of that through the overnight hours, and we're going to continue to see that for Norman. So that's really where our flood risk is very prominent. So we're really continuing to track that. So a lot of things to keep in mind heading into this evening. So remember, turn around, don't drown if you're out and about. I know it's a Saturday night. A lot of people tend to go out and have some fun on the weekends. If you're out and you see any type of flood, you'll continue to see that. So we're going to continue to track that. So the rainfall and the flooding risk is going very, very strong as we continue to track that. But like I said, that leading edge is really the strongest area. Norman has passed that, so we'll continue to see that. Sam, do we have any reports on anything else? If we don't have any updates.
Nothing from my side.
Okay, perfect. What about Colin Taylor? Do we have any updates?
Chloe, if we're looking at I wanted to update you guys on the storm near Ardmore. National Weather Service is talking about increasing rotation near Doherty, approaching the Sulphur area. It looks particularly dangerous, is what the National Weather Service is saying, with a possible tornado, and they put out new warnings for that storm down there. They also are concerned about the communities of Sasquatch and Francis with this particular storm and that circulation. They're concerned about that circulation near the Ardmore storms.
Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a zoomed in look at that. So this is the Sulphur area, Doherty right here. This area of rotation is what he's referring to. This is starting to intensify a little bit more. So we're not out of the clear quite yet. So we're continuing to see this move. Notice how these polygons are directed northerly. So this is taking more of a northerly track than what we've seen before. So overall, we've had a lot of reports throughout the evening. we're going to continue to see this push off to eastern Oklahoma. Then it's going to be eastern Oklahoma's problem because it's going to turn a little bit more into a straight line wind event as it continues to persist off across the state. But this is really the biggest thing that we're looking for. So, you know, we are in the clear for Norman, so we're going to hop off on here. But a couple things to keep in mind. If you're under that tornado warning, make sure you're taking shelter for the evening until this is passed, especially if you're in Sulphur. Make sure you're taking those precautionary measures throughout the next 20-30 minutes or so, or unless you're in the clear, don't leave that shelter. As of right now, stay tuned as well. You know, while we're here, make sure that you're signing up for Next Gen Weather Call, our partnership with OU Nightly and Next Gen Weather Call. It's a way to get active weather alerts. We'll continue to see that, so go ahead and scan that. So throughout the evening, if you're able to get notifications through your phone, you'll get phone calls, you'll get a text message as well. It's only $12 a year, $1 a month, so not much in terms of financial to stay safe. So make sure you're staying safe, keeping it with OU Nightly. We'll post throughout the evening, keep you guys updated on all of the latest severe weather, and we'll keep you guys posted throughout the rest of the night. Stay safe.